Hey, good afternoon, Willie. How you doing?
Hello. I see behind you is X Bob.
X Bob, that's right. That's
X
X
Bob.
Bob, the Xbox Series X with the googly eyes.
It's kind of sad that the Xbox has been reduced to promoting a podcast. You know,
It's pretty funny.
way to protect your legacy, Microsoft. I mean, really, it's just
Yeah, good job, losers.
after all this time spent. You know, this is what the Xbox, the great Xbox console, is reduced to. It's just really embarrassing for the legacy to see it with the googly eyes on it. That's what I think.
I'm missing something. It's flying right the fuck over my head.
Do I have to put hashtag Deek afterwards?
Oh my god, that fucking asshole. That dude's such a piece of shit. You're talking about the writer of Days Gone losing his goddamn mind because the main character of Days Gone is in Astro Bot. So we talked about that dude on this podcast before. I forget his fucking name.
Did it come up before? Really? Is
Yes.
this round two with an individual?
We actually spoke about
John
him.
Garvin.
So John Garvin
Mind
is
gone.
one of the reasons why there's not going to be a Days Gone 2.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Because he was the asshole that we talked about who was such a piece of shit on the team that Sony made him get anger management.
Okay. Because it's like this is like that's all basically the sequence of steps that like start from this insane tweet that lead down to the full reveal of like everything about the Days Gone franchise. But
he was such an asshole during dev that he was slowing the game's production down.
So
just being horrible to work with.
So I mean, to back this up to the beginning, I guess, for context, AstroBot has come out and hey, surprise!
And they tried to kill my PS5.
Yeah, I heard some shit went down.
It was hot that day and it overheated.
Okay. Well, I mean, the game's pretty hot. Is what the consensus seems to be. Which again, I'm not surprised because I mean, even like seeing these little cameo gifs of like characters and stuff showing up in it is pretty fun. But that aside, back on the PSVR collection of games, the AstroBot VR game was like one of the best things on that entire collection, right? The playroom was it was so good. For everything else, so like that stood out, and so it's not a surprise to see this come back and be like, oh yeah, this is also good. And part of this is like a lot of cameos from different PlayStation IP characters showing up. One of which is Deke, aka Deacon from Days Gone, who shows up in some artwork, and to which John Garvin, the writer of Days Gone and the former creative director of Ben Studio, was like, it's kind of sad to see Deke reduced to promoting other games. Well done, Ben Studio. Way to protect your legacy. To which everyone is like,
character PlayStation has ever touched is in that fucking game.
To which everyone is like, you salty bitch, are you out of your mind? What is wrong with you?
I'm so mad that my fucking one-off character from a franchise that will never live again, which is just an insane guy on his motorcycle that just screams about, yeah, brother, gets to hang out with fucking Alucard and Solid Snake and the fucking Bloodborne Hunter and Crash Bandicoot as a fucking equal.
So this is where I have to check my notes here and go like, hold on, was this not the motorcycle zombie game? Like,
yes.
And like,
okay, hold
pretty
your brain
solid.
there for a second.
Yeah,
Hold your brain.
Okay.
Do you remember the podcast where I described playing a game in which the audio for listening to the radio was set between being on your motorcycle and being on foot? But if you were on the motorcycle, he'd be like yelling his responses to the guy on the radio because he'd be mad. But those still played even if the motorcycle was at a stop.
Right.
So you'd be at a stop sitting to the radio, and then fucking Deke would just go on a fucking 2-minute rant, go, I don't know about that, Jim, to like no one in the woods. It was awesome.
I mean, it's just like, it's wild because I've seen people like talking about what they've enjoyed about Days Gone, and
it's good,
you know, but like that fucking salty bitch energy sucks, man. And I like credit to Mighty Keef for very respectfully just being like, the way he phrased it was, "I mean this with no malice, but you aren't seeing the bigger picture. Astrobot is on its way to being one of Sony's most iconic games, and it's a celebration of Sony games. Having your character in the game is something everyone wanted." Right? Like, the most respectful way to say that.
Oh yeah.
And then Sam Witwer, the voice actor for Deke,
it's like, fuck yeah, AstroBot, I'm gonna go buy that.
Gonna buy the game now. # Deke. So, yeah, no. So I mean, that's it. So this is that's solid, and everyone has turned that around. And so # Deke, push it everywhere. Deke freaks stay winning. Good stuff. But this has now led to people going,
oh, they perp Joker and Smash. Oh, I'm mad. Oh, Yoshi sucks, or some nonsense. Like, what the fuck?
But like, so from this, yeah, I'm going with Deke Freaks. 2 E's on both sides. You then have the digging into like, what the fuck is going on, and why would this dude be so upset about this cool thing that a lot of other games are participating in? You know, that's like a fun little nod to parts of the Sony IP, you know, and such.
Mm-hmm.
And that has led to, yeah, like all these other peripheral stories, like Days Gone sold well enough and was slated to get a sequel, but Studio Bend themselves said no because they did not think it sold well enough according to their own metrics, despite what Sony said.
Out a detail or two about that. So it did. So Days Gone sold over 9 million copies.
Yes,
which is very impressive. However, the game launched as a total disaster, and most of those sales were on deep discount.
Okay. Well,
so in terms of like, you know, whoa, maybe they only sold 2 or 3 million, which is obviously not enough in today's economy.
Clearly, and I guess somewhere along those lines with that, John blamed the game also not selling well, not just on discounts, but woke reviewers was apparently another point of contention here.
Listen, Wooly, the wokes are out here to tell you that Days Gone was too fucking based to be played.
Days
and blue hairs got him.
Days.
It could have sold at least 25 million copies if not for the woke police.
That's what happened, clearly.
Bro, it sold 9 million. Are you fucking crazy? Also, that game launched like a pile of shit. It was falling apart.
And so somewhere in there, the studio was being treated like such shit that Sony made him take anger management classes.
Yeah, no, because he was like slowing down development.
But he still harasses them every now and then or something to that effect. So they've started distancing themselves from him.
Guy who was forced to take anger management has totally public meltdown
allegedly
over nothing.
Well, allegedly, it seems. And now there's something with NFTs involved.
Man.
So yeah.
Hey, do you have any Peter Molyneux shit in the document?
Not
today?
really. I mean,
I have one thing to say. If you, crypto AI bros or whatever, if you I don't know if you saw it, but Peter Molyneux was out there saying that AI is so advanced that soon you'll be able to make your own video games with just a single prompt. And if that isn't your fucking cue to get the fuck out, then I don't know what to tell you. Because every single thing out of that dude's mouth, the opposite happens. He is the biggest liar that's ever fucking been.
Yeah, so it's really easy to just look at this cute little game that's like, hey, look, love for these other video games you guys like, and just watch one fucking salty ass go raging hard and go like, well, yeah, of course, if that upsets you, then things that are actually upsetting would lead to anger management like classes being required. Like the scale we're talking about here, like I'm like, it doesn't surprise me to see that one behooves the other. So that's wild. And good stuff. To that end, I guess I'm looking and going like, yo, I didn't realize that. Like, I'm seeing like it's not just Sony like cameos. There's like fucking Ryu and Kazuya and
Oh, no,
Aegis
it is
and
the Smash Brothers rule of, hey, has this character graced a Sony platform?
everyone's in there. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, like I've seen the Persona ones, you know, all the Warriors. It's crazy. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? Soul Bad Guy as well.
It's fucking weird that Sony released a smash hit, instant classic, like mascot platformer featuring Everybody Is Here before Nintendo. That's fucking weird.
I would have felt this way years ago, maybe before Smash 4 era, but Nintendo doesn't want to spend money on anything, dude. Like,
oh no, I don't mean like that. I mean, it's really strange because Sony doesn't have any IPs.
Oh, yes, of course. Right. According to the CTO, there's not enough original IP, says company leadership. I mean, so that's the shot. The shot is Days Gone, Salt over Astro Bot, and then Chaser. Sony's like, we just don't have enough IP. Nintendo
I was looking at Phil Spencer and I was jealous of all the people making fun of how fucking stupid he is, so I was gonna go and say something stupid too.
Just, can we get like, it's just like SpongeBob meme of like lifting up the plate, the covers and opening up the doors to point to Bloodborne, God of War, Killzone, Infamous Jack, Ape Escape, Gravity Rush, Motorstorm, Dark Cloud, Twisted Metal.
Sony has
Patapon.
so many original IPs that they own, and they have like a whole second tier of games that were not technically Sony's, but you associate with Sony, like Symphony of the Night is like a really good example.
I mean, it's yeah. So those associations are very strong, right? And I mean, and again, the way that like Kratos is Sony mascot man. You know, man. Like that is what his role. I think there's a weird like secondary thing to this though, where like, as we've said, like Capcom has the most Capcom and Nintendo are like the beloved IP collections of sorts. With Nintendo having that many, they kind of keep their IPs alive by, you know, actually remembering they exist every now and then.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Right?
Like what? Name one Nintendo game about an IP that hadn't been around in a while. And don't say Punch Out or Metroid or or Luigi or
you know, and like it's the thing with that is a lot of the studio.
Okay, people in the chat are saying F-Zero. Yes. Okay, actually, yeah, no, that one.
F-Zero does.
You got me on that one. Okay.
Captain Falcon has been missing in action, except for punching people. But all this to say that, like, you know, like, yeah, the main thing with that is they have their franchises, and then they'll go out and have different developers working on these different things according to whatever the idea is, right? And yeah, I saw this kind of point was brought up, and it's a pretty good one. Sony has a hard time doing that because if they want to get out like an Infamous, then they're not going to get out a Ghost of Tsushima, right? Like they can't do Killzone until the Horizon trilogy is finished.
It's kind of this weird thing where like usually you take the IP and be like, hey, new team that has nothing to do with the old team, you want to make a Killzone game, and they don't do that. They very rarely do that.
Yeah. So which
is kind of nice.
But like each of the studios that makes the thing, they make that thing, and if they make a more popular thing after the first thing was popular, well, now that both things are locked into that one place and that one timeline, you know. Like, so
listen, do you want Jack 4 or do you want another Last of Us remaster?
Yeah. Now
obviously you want Last of Us.
Now I don't think that means that like Bloodborne should be in the hands of not FromSoft, you know. But it does mean that like there are a lot of IPs and things from the PlayStation All-Stars lineup that stay with dust on them over long periods of time because the studios making them get really locked into bigger future
that game had franchises. No support. That game was so fucking depressing. That had no support. Like I remember like looking at it and being like, this game is cooked the day they announced the Big Daddy for that roster, which is like a character that like everyone associated with the fucking Xbox 360.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you have literally 100 fucking Sony characters you could fucking include in this game.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like the initial answer of like who do people care about versus who do they have on their roster. They're like, okay, well, let's go for the bigger names as opposed to necessarily lesser names that might not elicit the same response. It still isn't a Smash roster regardless.
Hit me with that fat princess.
You know, fucking yeah, Revengeance and Dino made it in there, right? But anyway, yeah. So it is a wild thing to have AstroBot drop and immediately follow that with a C-suite executive at Sony going, yeah, we just don't have enough IPs. We don't know what to do. We got to figure that out. It's our biggest weakness right now. Like, that's fucking crazy. Yeah. How's that? How is AstroBot? It's good?
From what I played of it, it's really good.
Peak? Is it peak?
So I only got to play like 3 levels. And it was excellent. I only had one complaint. And I don't know if my complaint is stupid or not, because as I said, I only played 3 levels. And it also might be for babies. I'm not sure. So maybe I'm extra stupid. But it is like, it is piss easy. It is so easy.
Sure. Yeah. It's a little platformer. You know, it's a little fun
easy.
Platformer. I don't know that I'm expecting a massive challenge from
it might be made for babies, and that's fine.
Could always be the Kirby route of like your first run through is like just, you know, basically a breeze, and then immediately after that is the go fuck yourself mode. If you're if you're that dude,
I would like that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm not sure yet. I want to see if I can find a way to like pop it in and take a look at it this week, maybe if there's time on the schedule. But it looks like a lot of fun, and just seeing like, oh shit, Bloodborne Hunter bot is parrying you, you know, is like fun. And then
yeah, it's cool.
Aegis is doing is flossing, and shit's getting wild out there. So I want to know. Anyway. Yeah, that main big thing aside, I suppose. Fucking wild to be like, hey, do you want your studio to have a follow-up to the thing that did really well? Okay.
I would like a different like team lead on that fucking game to come out and be like, if we did another Days Gone, we'd have to work with that guy again. And we were all like, no thanks. So we killed the IP.
Wait, but would they though?
Probably not, but this is what I want to happen. Because this is what I want the blame to be laid entirely at this dipshit's feet. Because that would be super funny.
Because again, I don't know the details, but it sounds like if a entire studio is distancing them from a dude who fucking like basically verbally abused them and went nuts to the point of needing to get help over it. Like, I can see that, like, yeah, there's no reason they'd have to work together with someone. You know what
I fucking love about this story is that like Sony forced him to take anger management, and it obviously didn't do fucking anything. Like
seeing little happy robots on Twitter going, oh!
I bet gay people worked on my game. Oh man, like, come on, calm down.
All right. Well, anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I guess for this week, I did a couple of things. Played a bit more of Deadlock. I streamed it.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I saw it.
Yes.
Yeah. That was so great.
Now, I'll just say this. I've never participated, I don't think, in a beta where at 3 p.m. the gates were closed. I've never played a game like that. I've only played games where they're like, okay, from midnight to 3 a.m. we're gonna do a quick server test, and then we'll be back up at 4 or something. That was wild. But yes.
It was like a genuine thrill on top, like similar to like Yakuza freezing or Shadow of the Hedgehog freezing, or you falling out of world in an Assassin's Creed or some shit, to see you load in, and then I'm like looking at the fucking screen. I'm like, is the fucking game closed?
It's game closed. Go home.
Are you sitting in your chair getting ready to go, and the game's like, no, we're closed. Shut up.
That's crazy. That's I've never. I couldn't. But yeah, you hit tilde, go into the the settings and change region to Europe, and then you can play. So
Valve games are fucking nuts that you can just hit tilde and just like, I want to fuck with this.
But that's a weird thing. That's kind of weird and crazy, right? Like, why is the game down at 3 p.m.? Like,
I don't know.
That's a dumb, bad, weird thing.
If I had
that doesn't make sense.
So I have a guess, but as somebody who is in dev would have a better guess than me. But here's my guess: those times have slowly been expanding at every point, every big patch after they get a huge population increase. So I believe they want a certain amount of people playing at a certain time so that they can examine like what gets pushed and what breaks.
Yes. So I've been
part. Like they want to concentrate the population.
So I've been part of and have organized network tests that have had to go through before end of day, so that we'd have things happen on a certain schedule, and then you basically like lunch or so would be the turnover point and things. Like, we've had those kind of set up and organized, but I guess that's like a playtest type thing, and I guess this is that, but I don't know. But playtesting versus open beta versus alpha, like there's different words used here, but there are
the strangest thing.
There are for different purposes, and I was not under the impression that this was like, I guess, that kind of playtest. I thought this was essentially a closed.
I know food analogies are poison, but I believe I can think of one that actually works here. Your usual beta is like the soft launch of a restaurant, right? It's not the full opening, and maybe not all the menu items are there, but you can go down and sit and have a meal, right? A proper alpha test is like going to your friend's new restaurant and the chef being like, hey, you want to try a plate of this fucking thing? And you eat it in the alley in the back. Deadlock feels like you are walking into your friend's kitchen and they let you taste the spoon.
Yeah, sure.
And then they go back to cooking it.
And again, I've had to organize these types of tests, so I do know that like there's a way that they're taken care of. But the fact that this game has been openly in this playtest state, I guess, for months now. So that's the guess what
it's going to be in the state for like at least a year.
Yeah, and usually what I would expect of something where you'd be like, okay, shut it down halfway through, we're going to push a new build out or something, would be when it would be like, hey, we're doing this for a week, and then we're gonna go away and then come back.
Yeah, it's strange.
But
Dota
also
was apparently like this.
Every time I've booted it up, I've started playing and I've gotten a message up top saying, hey, new build is out. So
this thing updates every like 10 hours.
Yeah, so their dev process is just like a bit like unusual in how fucking live
weird.
It is. Mm-hmm.
It's this, yeah. So people in the chat are confirming that Dota 2 also did this, and it's just like there's a very rare combination of we're not worried about time, we're not worried about release, there is no rush, and you can also look at it. Like usually teams that are like, whatever, it'll take however long it takes, are like big secrets until a certain arbitrary point.
No, you can see the open kitchen. You can look right through and see what's going on. To that end, I mean, not much else to add on, but in playing that extra bit, I was able to like try out Haze and with chat active, you know, got some nice backseat tips on a couple things, and
so I'll tell you, for MOBAs, chat's like actually like pretty helpful.
Oh yeah, so
because they're complicated as fuck.
So when I was like going about the whole builds thing, like updated, like you know, shopping and stuff, it was like, oh yeah, like folks were pointing out, they're like, oh yeah, the defaults are super outdated, like the recommended tab for what you see for each character.
No, you can't use that.
You can't use those. You got to go to you got to go to the search and browse for the most popular one, and then, you know, favorite that, and then choose the most popular one as the place to go. And those are the recommended ones with comments from the people who make these playlists of, or not playlists, but yeah, these skill, like, you know, tabs and stuff. And I was like, oh wow, okay, that's a whole thing to it. And then that stays updated, and like when the game updates as well, new versions push. So like in one case, like the most popular version was not the one to go with, but it was the one that was marked updated for you know, September 1st or whatever. And presets, yeah, it was like, oh okay, that's a part of this. And I'm like, is this unique to Deadlock, or do other games?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Dota is the same way.
There's a live preset browsing
thing. For Dota, there are so many goddamn people playing it so regularly that I imagine that playlist shit or the build list stuff is updated within like minutes of a patch going up.
I mean, it does certainly feel like, the diversity of like everything involved is like, it is pretty drastic looking at it to go like, oh, a big passive healing of some kind, or a super jump that you can then combine with your character to use 7 to jump over the group and then fry them with your ult or whatever.
Hey, I'd like to respond to somebody in the chat who asks a really good question, which is, I still don't understand how MOBAs are so popular. It's because they're fucking free. They're all free. It's an entire genre of free games that kids learned how to play when they were 6 years old for free.
I think that's part of it. I think that's a big part of it. And I'm coming to a couple other conclusions, which may or may not be correct, but I suspect as well that also because of the RTS bones, you know, and like sort of the comfort of coming from, if you were into RTS in particular, and seeing all that get streamlined in this way, you have...
Yeah, because...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm putting my hand in front of my mouth. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I feel bad.
That's okay. Yeah, so I think because it's so because the RTS bones kind of evolved in such a way where, like, if you had any comfort or familiarity with that, like, this kind of feels like something you can latch onto. You already have some established experience of this type of game as well, and because this replaces the RTS in many cases, there's an element to it which... This is where, and this, I might be off on this one, but I like, let me know what you think. I think that even though it's free, and even though it can get like super insanely difficult and thus toxic at the highest competitive levels and such, I think...
No, it can get super toxic right at the bottom.
True. I think, though, that because there's a main element of the game that involves PvEing.
Oh, absolutely. That's 100%. That's a huge proportion of it.
You get ushered in gently.
Oh, absolutely.
As opposed to getting your shit rocked and there's no other interaction except for getting rocked.
Let's take me playing top in League, right? So top in League has a lot of laning. Like, you're laning for a little longer than everybody else, and you're not so much fighting the other guy, you just want to build up to like a steamrolling beast, right? I am not super good at like RTS MOBA combat, right? But I can lane okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I could lane to the point where I am so much stronger than the other guy in my lane. It doesn't matter how bad I am at RTS games. 3 levels higher, I'm gonna stomp him into the fucking dirt.
I felt that thing inside that was like, oh, if I'm kind of nervous about challenging another player, I can still just fight I can be safe here a little bit. And it's still, you still got to get better at it. You still got to learn to do the other things. But there's a thing to the game where you can lane, and that avoids the hardest part, which is the conflict with other players that can beast on you. You know?
So like good, like excellent players, right? They're not using pre-made builds. They're alternating what they need based off of the impetus of the game. Right? They don't need the build guide to be like, listen, if you got haze in your lane, use this to counterpick them, or what active item you should use. Right? They're just naturally going for a certain thing, and they're reacting on the fly. They're also doing all the last hitting. They're also doing all the internal combat. But there are like 4 pieces that form the game's core gameplay. And like an average player can be good at like 1 or 2 of those things and bad at the rest of it.
Yeah.
And if they're good enough at the 1 or 2 things, they can make up their shortcomings in the other ones.
So you
like,
don't.
There are people that their brain fucking melts when they see that shop, so they just use the pre-made build. But maybe they're really good at third or first person shooters.
So they don't feel like they're missing out, or like having, they're like they feel like they're doing something right away. You get that good feeling right away of like, I'm participating, and if I can't win this fight, that's okay. The second person on my lane can jump in and fucking do that work and is good at, you know, getting the pick or whatever the case, and they can fight. But I'm gonna do this, and this is a bit easier.
Yeah,
and
no,
safer,
you are describing my experience, because I want to push my lane.
Yeah,
I want to live in that thing.
I felt
for
it.
25 minutes.
I felt it, and to that end, I would say, I'm like, any genre that gave you some bots to beat up on as part of the main thing would feel better to get used to using your character and doing things, because there's nothing hard immediately.
There's
something you can do. You know?
There is a game that you and I have played that we both love, that has implemented this exact like difficulty slider for multiplayer.
Prepare for Titanfall.
That's right. It's the same fucking thing. It's like, listen, are you getting blown up by Call of Duty freakazoids? How about you just push the objective, kill every NPC on the map you can find, and build up the momentum that way?
Now, you can use the NPCs to build up your special abilities and use your kit to do stuff, you know, and even help your team blocking, you know, radar or whatever the case might be, you know, wall hacking, etc. But like, you can't win by just fighting the grunts.
But I think it was Zampella in an interview for Titanfall, when he was like at the very beginning, when Titanfall 1 got announced, somebody asked him, hey, so what's up with the bots? Like, why is the thing flooded with bots? And the answer was really simple. We want brand new players who are at a low skill level to never finish one of their lives without shooting one enemy.
Right.
Because that is really, that sucks.
You feel something. Yeah, you feel something. And so that was a bit of a realization I had about the genre, right? And I'm like, oh yes, this makes something more inviting if you do feel like you've contributed in some way to the overall game, which thus in turn means that the overall game is less about the fight and more about the overall map push, you know?
Dude, you can help out so much in Deadlock or League or Dota, and like not necessarily like even fight the person that you're intended to fight. As long as every single time you realize you're about to lose, just go do something else that has a better return.
And so just like with Titanfall, I'm like, I see that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I see why that exists. That makes sense. It's not what I want. It's not what I want personally. No. I'm in midair, fucking running off the wall, you know, like grappling up to you and shit.
When do I get to the fireworks factory?
You know, but I see why that's there, and it makes sense. And so a lot of this has been, you know, kind of seeing where that works and how that appeals to people. And then the other bit too was like, okay, and now if you are gonna lane push, how do you make that? How do you do that efficiently, right? How do you get good at that? And learning about like, okay, so last hitting, you know, we kind of talked about it a bit before, like it's the mechanic where you get the last hit on one of the grunts and then you get the XP for it. But like what it means to do it like kind of efficiently is to ignore the fight that the grunts are having with each other, or the creep, right, is having with each other, and just pick pot shots at the...
Yeah, just like literally leave them alone. I'm like, oh, that one's going to go.
Right?
That one's going to go.
Pick pot shots at the ones that are about to die while focusing on the main opponent on the other side. So...
And now I get to bring up a term I never thought I would ever say to you on this podcast. Now you can move on to split pushing.
Okay.
All right. You want to know about fucking split pushing?
So that sounds like pushing a lane, but doing so with another person. And
it's the opposite. Split pushing is I'm going to push this lane. I'm encountering any resistance at all.
Switch.
One lane over.
Switch. Okay.
I'm going to push both lanes at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
And just every time I run into a problem, moving back over to the other one.
I get it. If you're not good enough to win the fight against the person.
Oh no. That's the dumbest part. That's the hardest one, because you have to be good enough to not die in both fights simultaneously.
Okay. Right.
Because the idea is that you can suck up 2 lanes.
Yes, right.
By doing that.
And interestingly enough, because both people, especially at the beginning of the match, are kind of afraid, you don't want to die early and fuck the whole thing up and such. You're like, again, you're chilling back, and the whole game there is to now, right, play some footsies and bring them up to your laser. And if you can fight with your laser at your back, then like, I can get more damage up. But if I can pull you back to me and mine, then my boss can hurt you. And so
it's a really,
you're pushing and pulling
genre, because killing the enemy is so much less important than not dying.
Yeah.
Not dying
it is very
twice
strange.
As important as killing the other guy.
And that exists in team shooters as well, admittedly. I remember that was in competitive Overwatch, like with the team, that was the key factor, was like, okay, no matter what's happening, just don't die, right? Even if you think you're doing terribly on a given push, that's okay. Just do anything you can to not be dead, and like that becoming the priority was like a mentality shift.
Just leave.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of there. Like leave the team behind, but don't be dead. Exactly.
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting because well, okay, I was going to go as far into this as I could without, I guess, falling to.
You got pretty good. You got pretty far in.
Thank you. I tried, but I'm out of language now, so I have to.
Right.
I have to go to it. There's the way that Justin Wong talked about, like playing in a certain cases where you play as if you're always one hit away from death. Yeah. And so like that's a way of playing in anything competitively, where you're like, oh, it's not just about me going in and stomping you and going ham, rushing that shit down, but like you're afraid of getting touched. I must mitigate every potential loss as strongly as I can. Yeah. And I mean that's my analogy. I think it works. It applies here. It works very well. And so anyway, I think the other bit too is like when your shop is up next to your guardian, then you can also you have to get good at shopping quickly in the middle of the firefight, and then unlocking abilities in the middle of the firefight, and that's just stress. Oh, dude, it's like you're doing your footsies, and you're is he leaving to go to his shop? That means I can go to my shop. Right, sure. Paying attention to that. Or like killing the enemy, like fuck the lane, I'm gonna go shopping. Yeah, I have 10 seconds. Like deep down in my core, I do hate the fact that you have to buy your ability to begin with at all. Like that does bother me, because you have to stop and shop on yourself and then in the shop as well. But that is where the core of the build variety comes in, because for that first little while, it's like I get to have one of the things I can do. Yeah. Which one is it going to be? Yeah. Usually you would pick the one that is good against the person that you're dealing with. Yes. And it makes sense too that like, yeah, that can be matchup dependent, and or if you're doing a particular type of build and all this stuff. Which now again, though, like just in the same way that having an enemy to shoot at that is not another player means that if I'm not that good, I can still feel like I'm doing something. There's also the part of this where, and experience and leveling up exists. It's not just the raw decision making. Yeah. Right? like my rook and my pawn can get stronger over time as the match
as
goes
long
on.
as you are not just throwing it away,
And so
you will increase in strength.
And so, like, so skill challenge can be mitigated with bots, and skill challenge can also be mitigated with strength increase over time. You know, where you
and ideally the matchmaking will help.
Ideally, yes. But you as a player don't need to change your behavior that much. You just need to unlock the stronger things. You know, and then the steamroll will come from having more stuff than your opponent does. So
I'm not.
It's not a knock, but it is like more friendly to a larger group of people.
Oh yeah,
because it does ask less of you initially.
So I cannot possibly get across just how much. So I'm not super familiar with Dota 2. I played mostly League. How much more fun it is to play Deadlock purely based on the priority character select. It is night and day how much more enjoyment there is between, like, I would like you to continue matchmaking until I can play as one of the 3 characters I actually want to play.
Okay, see, I currently am looking at the thing where the entire game shares one character's select screen as a major blow to my fun. But I know that this is a part of the genre, as is blocking and denying other people their ability to get their characters as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Excuse
me. And that
sounded like shit. Are you okay?
I usually just mute it. It was just I unmuted too early for a second. But that serves to remind me as well that it's a little bit of that, like, don't get too attached to the character. It's the board and the strategy that matter the most, and you are people on a team. But my whole thing of, like, but I like a character, and I like a character, and a character makes me want to play a game. It's like, and here that matters less, you know?
But here's where I'm going with this, because, like, I don't think you'll ever be able to understand just how miserable the League system is without personally encountering it.
Yeah.
Hey, I would like to. I have to go to fighting games as well. It's the best way. Tops are big bodies and grapplers.
Sure.
Like even 2XKO says the top is big body and grappler. Right? It's like, hey, I want to play big body and grappler. And it goes, well, in order to queue, you must also pick small, tiny, fast combo character as an option.
Right.
And I go, I really don't want to do that. And they go, guess what? That's the character you're playing. And I'm like, I don't want to even play this match anymore.
Yeah. And
if you leave in the next 40 minutes, your matchmaking will be fucked. So enjoy playing mid.
I mean, it doesn't matter what genre it is. To me, I'm such a character-driven person that it just seems crazy to me that you could be like, no, you cannot play as your character. That seems like such an insane thing to be, because I'm like, why am I sitting down to boot this game up? You know?
So for Deadlock going, listen, we've got like 25 here. Are there 3 you would like to play? And you go, yeah. And then they go, would you like to play one way more than the other 2?
Yeah.
And you go, yes. And they go, we'll do our best. And so far, it's actually worked out really well.
So I'm hit or missing on some of these characters as I've jumped around them. But what I will say is this worked for me in Rivals, because when I was like, okay, someone jumped on Iron Man, someone jumped on Magic or whatever, like, who else is there? And I was like, well, let me just mess around with a bit more of the cast and let me see. And, like, everyone in that I felt I was enjoying enough that I was like, yeah, let me learn Rocket Raccoon if we have no healers, right? Let me learn, I'll pick up Thor, or I'll pick up Venom if we have no tanks or whatever. And that was just a case where, like, everything and everyone in that game just felt fun enough that jumping around was not at all an issue. But it only works if you enjoy what the rest of the cast is doing. You know? In Deadlock, I did hit some characters where I was like, I just don't feel this at all.
And those are never going to go into your priority lists.
Yeah. It's interesting because like there's one case, so like Hayes, for example, who I used, is like clearly one of the better picks that like people are using a lot because
Which one's she?
she's the one that can put you to sleep and
She go invisible.
she goes invisible, yes, and she does
yeah.
Reaper's die.
Now there's a jungler for you.
But the interesting part to me is that, like, you know, with my perhaps misunderstanding of her kit, she seems to be an inferior version of Seven, the electric robot that I usually use.
Oh, I believe that's because every single character in the game is an inferior version of Seven.
Okay.
I think that is what you're encountering,
because,
actually.
But, like, their kits are so similar to each other, but it's like, okay, she has a sleep that when you shoot the person, they wake up and start moving again, whereas he just stuns you, and you take all that damage while you're stunned. So more damage from the same disability, right?
Yeah, Seven,
they both
Seven
have
is the type of archetype that gets made, and you're like, the kit is too complete.
I guess. Because, like, her ult is, she goes die. It's the die.
Yeah.
But Seven's ult is die for like 20
twice
seconds.
The range for twice the distance and twice the time for twice the damage.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so why, right? So anyways, all that to say that, like, yeah, so there was that feeling I was left with. Abrams, when I did go to him, I was like, the slowness and the gun kind of, I wasn't feeling it. Like, the mobility was bothering me a bit too much for that. But obviously the sustain was pretty high.
Yeah, so I played a bunch of matches with Abrams, and the Abrams like feel good moment is he is the only character I played that could dive into a full pack of the enemy team with his rush and not just instantaneously die.
Melts, yeah.
Like, I could actually dive into the whole pack and knock them all into the walls and get one. And that is a win. If I can disrupt the death ball and kill one guy, I have done more than they can do to me. That's a win.
Right.
I won that encounter.
Yeah, and it is so that is a pretty good reason if you can fuck that up. I think as well, just the other factor was I learning about sliding, right? Where you do like crouching while rolling, and then you slide on your knees, and while you're sliding, you have infinite ammo, you know? So it's like, oh, like who can capitalize on that? And it's like a character with a good gun that fires fast rate of fire that doesn't have a super long reload. Yeah, and that too adds a nice little layer of like combat complexity to the situation where you're like, oh, okay, like even if you're good at like shooting, you can always get better by, well, I mean, one, there's the melee parry game to it and such, which doesn't come up as often, but if you can slide and do like, you know, something Titanfall-ish for a bit, you can just lay in and not worry about ammo at all, you know? So there's definitely those skill moments that feel pretty good. But yeah, and then of course, we talked last time about like denial of XP and all that shit. But I think that's overall just this is what I'm getting this impression of, that it's like you get something that anyone can feel like they're helping right away on. And
also,
and
I
that's
feel
big.
like I said it last time, but like I think Deadlock being a shooter just immediately makes it a million times more approachable to almost everyone.
The
Like,
familiarity
it's
is
so
there.
much easier to understand. Shoot the little dudes, and there's a guy over there. Shoot him too. Than all the RTS buttonography.
Yeah. So anyway, that's coming out this week on Wooly Versus, and I might you know, I might pop my head in every now and then.
Have you
once in a
gotten
while.
toxic?
I have not gotten toxic. I have not.
Then you're not playing it hard enough.
I do feel though, like if I pop in for one game once and I don't get to play as the character I want, then I want to quit playing.
Yeah.
I do very much feel that, because I'm not getting that same like, oh, I'll just go play Rocket feeling from this. You know? So anyway.
Chris Wolfhart tweeted this a little bit ago that was like his criteria for goodness on MOBA. And it was like, can you imagine a teenage boy sending his friend death threats over this game? If not, you need to keep working on it. Like
That's the bar.
That's
the
bar.
Got it. Understood. Yeah. So that was Deadlock. Beyond that,
you looking at a list? Because I look at a list every week.
Yeah, I read.
Can't remember what the fuck I'm doing.
No, I need to make mental notes of things. Dino Crisis.
Still weird, huh?
Still weird. Still old. Still fun.
It's so weird. I can't like.
I like seeing how seeing the way things are set up now. Though it is clear that it's like, okay, the reasons why the dinosaurs are such assholes is because there's so much fewer of them compared to zombies.
Oh yeah, no, there's like fucking 25 of them in the whole game or some nonsense.
There's way less, and as a result, they're just that much more of a fucking pain.
It's a whole game of like mini nemesis
that can follow you into the rooms and all that shit. Overall, still pretty old and fun, and resource managing is all fine and dandy. But there is one abundant large issue that keeps happening, and
what's that?
It's just a matter of the time and the age of the design of the game. But this was a time when they were like, all panic is good panic that we can induce on the player. And if that panic comes at cost of clarity of what the game is asking you to do, then it doesn't matter. It's still good, right? If the rules,
you have to flip the switch or you'll die. Where is it? I can't fucking find it. I'm dead. And what a good moment we made.
And this is the first time a switch is in the game at all, for example, right? So I go back to, and I said again, I go back to that Mass Effect fucking window that you got to shoot, but it's just the thing that makes me like, I get irrationally upset at this. But like, if it's an old game, I'm like, I laugh at it. But the newer the game, the more mad I get.
Oh yeah,
I'll never let it down. Where they're just like, the rules just don't apply. They just change here, and also, we're going for a feeling that is you being confused. But if you're not panicking, then you still lose, because you're supposed to be panicking as a gamer. I've brought up, of course, the Walking Dead Season 2 as the pinnacle example of my loathing. I hate that game. Made me fucking despise the rest of that. I didn't go back to it. I don't think it just really turned me off of the franchise, because there's a moment in the middle of, I forget which act it is in Walking Dead Season 2, where you get a bunch of zombies attacking you at the farm, and there's a moment where you pull the gun out and you have like 2 bullets or so, and you shoot those bullets, and then you have none left, and the zombies keep coming at you. And so when I had no bullets left, the zombies then rushed and killed me. And I was like, but I have no bullets left. And then I did it again, and I was like, did I miss something? Am I supposed to shoot a gas canister? Is there a red barrel?
You're supposed to fucking click on empty so that the cutscene goes.
And you click empty, and you do it even once, and then it's like, no, you still just die. And it turns out the game wants you to dry fire multiple times to go, I don't know, oh God, I'm panicking. And then someone comes in and saves you. It's the most batshit insane stupid decision, because I'm like, oh, I'm out of bullets. Now what do I do? And I kept thinking that way.
An auto timer for the cutscene.
It's crazy. It's crazy that they would actually let you die if you did not fire the empty gun and go, ah! And like, that just upset me so hard, like to my core. Because it's just like, oh, you don't understand what panic is and how to make someone feel that in a moment. Like, you completely don't get it, And so what's happening with Dino Crisis in these moments is the T-Rex will show up. And every time the T-Rex shows up, the rules change, right? The T-Rex is like, should you shoot it? Can I shoot it? Is there anything to? And the answer is no. Well, maybe, but it depends. And
maybe there's a chandelier you could drop on the T-Rex.
Yeah, so like the T-Rex, like the first time it shows up, it's like are you going to waste all your ammo shooting at it? Yes, unless the mouth is open, then you kind of knock it back, and then there's that moment of vulnerability. But otherwise, it's just invuln, does nothing, waste your bullets, which are precious, you know. And it's also
so wild that we went to Dino Crisis 2 with like, hey, ammo is functionally infinite, and the only question about shooting a dinosaur is how many points it will give you.
Man. Yeah, that you said that last. I'm like, that is still just wild and nuts. And yeah, the T-Rex with the instant kills and stuff because it just can gobble you up. And then the second time, or so, no, third rather, is you're on the ground and I'm like, oh shit, it's going down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're fighting the T-Rex in this burning like helipad, and you just got handed a grenade launcher. The game, literally in the room prior to walking out to the helipad, gives you a grenade launcher and 6 grenades. And you walk, and you're fighting this T-Rex, and there is no point because there's nothing you can do. You cannot actually fight it. The goal is to run in circles for like 2-3 minutes and wait for your friend to do a repair. But it doesn't quite indicate that immediately. You've got to try to run to the door, and he says, oh, wait, hold on, I'm still, you know, and you've got to not fight then the moment, and it's just like,
do you want a little tidbit of information?
You made this moment where you just gave me the weapon, and it's not actually a fight. This is just a run and survive moment.
A tiny little tidbit of information from this era.
Mm-hmm.
These games were balanced around wasting ammunition.
Yeah, right.
That encounter
I can feel it.
Is designed for you to get to use the weapon and see how it functions and waste all of it.
All of it. Yep. Right? Because I'm like, oh, maybe I have to wait for the mouth to be open again, since that was what the rule possibly was established as last time. Since it was like, oh, the rules go out for the T-Rex. Okay, what is there? The mouth is open. Maybe that's what we got. Nope, that's not it. It's just literally don't even shoot it at all, you know? And so you're like, right, okay, you're it's just not really an encounter at all. It's a prolonged,
it's a chase sequence,
you know, but it's happening in one room that seems like it is what it is. And so with that, I'm like, you know, like immediately I was like, how do you get what you're trying to get across while preserving the danger of, oh, running from this thing can be hard and like it can kill you if you get fucked over in a corner or whatever.
Oh, I tell you how. There's a really easy way. You have a character shoot it with a weapon inside a cutscene and go, it didn't even do anything. It's like it didn't hurt it at all.
So what I did right after that moment, I was like, you know, you have Rick who's there, and it's like, wow, this thing's so tough. Like, okay, there's no point. We're gonna need to just get out of here. But it's like, stall for time. I'm gonna do my best to fix this. And then like while you're fighting it, it's like, come on, almost there. Damn it, it's not working. Hold on, I gotta try something else. And it's like, no, wait, hurry up. And just little background dialogue, you know. And then wait, almost got it. All right, Regina, get over here, you know. And just that little contextualizer.
Came out in 1999. Shut the fuck up.
You know, just that little moment. And I was like, oh, that would be turn it into a oh fuck, and it would be high tension, and you would accomplish the same panic, but you wouldn't be just lying to the player.
Not by the strategy guide.
Yeah. So it's like you could. It's not even like you don't have to make that kind of moment. You just need to not lie to the player.
Nah.
You know? So anyway,
lie a little bit for fun.
So, but that's it, you know. So those moments, I'm just like, ooh, the design is fucking hitting a wall here, and again, right after the reward that is your big grenade launcher, mind you, you know. But yeah, everything else, you know, that's all fun and fine. So
I feel like Dino Crisis has like one really, really weird knock against it, which is like, so they wanted to do like the real 3D backgrounds. Right, so like that game is in 3D, and as a result, like it does control a little better than like Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, but it like visually looks way worse.
Oh, really?
It looks way worse.
Weird.
Oh, that's why the environment is like a whole like the whole island is like a gray lab.
Yeah, I guess again it was surprising for me to go back and kind of find out the timeline of this was simultaneous development, because I thought it was like, oh, we learned all of our Resident Evil lessons and now we're
It's
doing
kind of
this
like a
second franchise, you know?
kind of like a test for Code Veronica kind of thing.
But yeah, so I think I imagine there should be about one more session of that to get through. Almost done. So that's gonna be this week as well. Dino Crisis Classic Rebirth. Fucking panic game design, dude. It's just like lie to the player, throw the rules out, and introduce new systems for the first time. And if you die, you also like lose your consumable resource, you know. And yes, we need you as a player to run in circles and freak out. And we have a microphone. And if the microphone doesn't hear you panicking, then you lose. You die automatically. It needs to hear your fear. Yeah. So beyond that as well.
So hey, just a second. I'm sending you 2 screenshots of like what RE3 and Dino Crisis looked like next to each other from the same year.
Wow, it looks so much worse. Yeah.
But you can move the camera.
Yeah. But it is
That's
full 3D.
also why you only fight like one dinosaur at a time, almost ever.
But it's not just moving the camera. It's like everything's pre-rendered in the background. Therefore, you have much more model fidelity to display on camera.
Oh yeah, no, RE3, RE1, RE2 have crazy model fidelity.
Yeah, so it's just a knock-on effect, right? Like camera rotation is a knock-on effect that degrades everything else there. There's also one bridge you run across where like suddenly the camera becomes like an action cam that's like
and they're
tracking.
Like, whoa, this is so cool, dude.
But I'm just like, and this is where the T-Rex is going to attack, and sure enough, yes, the one super dynamic moment, you know. As opposed to like the one awesome overhead camera from Silent Hill where it's just like, oh, it's just a random alleyway, but holy fuck, that was a really cool shot where you're like...
The camera in Silent Hill 1 is so impressive for 99 that like they stole that shot for the movie because it's dynamic in a goddamn film.
Great. So, yeah, Dino Crisis continues. The other thing that happened this week, which is fucking just... Dragon Ball FighterZ unhinged the Kusoge patch.
I think I can't give credit to where it's due because I don't remember who said this, but I saw it summed up perfectly as congratulations to Dragon Ball FighterZ for being the only game to ever escape being an esport.
It was like, yeah, okay. It violently resisted. Yes. No, that is, so when we popped this game in, I said, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage and sparking burst against the dying of the light.
It looks like fucking Mugen.
It's the best.
It's crazy.
Okay, so for those who don't know, Dragon Ball FighterZ, the Arc Sys Dragon Ball fighting game, is really fucking good. And it has enjoyed, you know, some attention for a decent amount of time. The main problem with it was that the rollback was not present, so netcode was bad for a long time. They eventually fixed it. It was a rough process, but they got there. The other thing is too many Gokus, and they added some more non-Gokus, but at the same time...
they added more Gokus.
But yes, but at the same time, that's one where I'm like, yeah, but you know what? There's more people that want more Gokus, so whatever.
People want the Goku.
Yeah, I realize in that I'm like, I can't really... I'm not gonna set my expectations up for failure because a lot of people do want more Gokus and in fact see less Gokus as a problem. So all this to say with the character variety, the game was a blast. It was a really fun, hyper-ass kind of Marvel-style fighter, but it was more or less getting to that point where there was nothing wrong with it. It was still very fun. It was updated and being supported way later than anyone expected to, but there's just so many other really good games out that a lot of people that play fighting games moved on to Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, and Guilty Gear Strive, you know? it kind of is just a matter of like, yeah, the attention economy is only going to be split so far. There were people that were consistently participating and like, you know, competing in it, and there were still events, but like it was just an awesome game that kind of was like, yeah, other things were coming out after it. So with that fading over time and no real outright like problem, what ends up happening with games like this is they just kind of hit that like sort of Discord online status of like, you can jump online and get games at any given point, but you know, it is what it is, and it gets locked in at a version that is kind of like the final version, and then you're going to see that for years in like, you know,
and then you get into the weird post game era in which it becomes declared as solved.
Sure. And then we fast forward a couple years, and then we go, hey, this year at EVO, the throwback legacy tournament is going to be Dragon Ball FighterZ. And a couple of the people in the Discord go, oh shit, yo, let's go. Yeah, that game was great. I remember that game. It was fun, right? So Babco says, fuck all that. We are not going gentle into the little fucking light in a quiet little boat. The final patch, as this game is going out, just unleashes all limiters, busts the shit open, gives everyone the ability to do completely deranged Kusoge shit. People can do touch of deaths for nothing. You can pop sparking and just do special move into special move. Everything that was a ranged like button or attack is now just a full screen instantaneous thing. The game is crazy, and it's never been more Dragon Ball. It's cracked it open, and it's the fucking best.
I will say one thing. I'm going to be a naysayer for 1 second because I don't even believe what I'm about to say, but I understand how people might feel. They looked at Dragon Ball FighterZ and they said, what if we turn this into a completely different fighting game that was way crazier and way more hyper? They were right to do that.
Yes.
That was the right decision. But this is so dramatic that I can imagine a lot of people are like, I kind of don't feel it anymore. It's too far.
And so here, like Street Fighter 4 on the way out had Omega mode, which was a weird experimental, wacky versions of every character that you could go pick. And a lot of those moves ended up being shit that was a preview for what would come in 5 and 6. It was an interesting mode, actually. People could still go to it and find out about what Capcom's thinking for future iterations of characters. But with Dragon Ball FighterZ in this case, yeah, there were definitely tweets of folks that were like, this is so disheartening. What the fuck have I been labbing all this time for? What have I been practicing
bullshit,
for?
Dumbass.
And it's like, yeah, that sucks. I hear you, but fuck that shit. Hold this combo to Android 16 suicide bomb. You know? Like, it's just,
how is that allowed?
So it's allowed. It's allowed because when he does it in a combo, it doesn't do full damage. It scales to like 50% of its usual damage.
Fucking ridiculous.
It is. It is, right? And so the actual like, if everyone is broken, no one is kind of philosophy.
All right, Syndrome, calm down.
In actual application in this game is like the funnest thing, because here's what's up, man. This game went from silence and not being talked about to everyone's like, yo, you see this fucking crazy shit? And like they're sharing wild combos all over again, and it's alive again, and everyone's like, I gotta go fucking see this shit, it's crazy. And every character has tons of nonsense, you know? And this was without an announcement, without any hint that this was gonna happen. They just, one person inside just was like, I almost imagine it was one person on the team just going, nah, fuck it, and hit the button and just went like, we're not going out quietly, you know? Slash that shit open and make it more Dragon Ball than it's ever been at the last second, you know? There's also some like stuff in there that is like, oh, well, that's a practical cool thing to do regardless. Like, you know, Android 21 has a super where she can eat you and then get like a bunch of abilities, and like now she can pick exactly which one she gets as opposed to the random factor, you know? But like things where you're like, oh, Krillin can throw a Senzu bean out and it just gives him a free meter of super, like like what, you are your partner, you know? Like shit, it's just like, yeah, fuck it, like, fuck it.
There's a lot that is in there that is just totally ridiculous. I think the one that I saw that I'm like at a base level that I'm sitting here going, what are you guys even doing? Is Ultra Instinct Goku's hard punch is the whole screen.
Full screen. Full screen.
He just
Boosh.
dashes up to you instantly from literally corner to corner.
The command grabs that you can do as a couple characters, including Android 16, just full screen. Trunks does a slide, full screen.
That slide is unreactable. That thing is like fucking 6 frames. It's crazy.
Something that would happen often in Dragon Ball would be there'd be moves that like go out one way and then kind of come back the other way, like a boomerang effect, but they wouldn't actually combo you like for 2 hits. It would be like you get hit once and then you could block the other way. A lot of that stuff, they made it like, no, it just hits you both ways now. Like Captain Ginyu can call out Raccoon, I think, who's like, or Birder, who's like flying by. And like now you just get juggled, you know, in each direction. Like all of that, you can take Yamcha and do his fucking spinning Wolfang fist right, you know, just go like
spin, just into the fucking
Beyblade your way through. Like it's so fun and stupid and great. You know, it's the hype because again, the Kusoge patch. You turn this game into and a lot of that stuff.
You turn it into Sailor Moon.
But and the thing is too, like a lot of that crazy shit is locked behind using your sparking mode, right? So the game has your kind of burst that lets you activate and get your life starts to heal, and you can do a bunch of crazy shit and do way more damage. Well, in addition to all that, now you get access to doing like any move into any move as much as you want for the most part. You know?
I'm gonna hit this button, and I would like to turn my character into the Latin American Mugen version of this character for the next 20 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah. Now there's still some crazy shit you can do without sparking. Like you can do. They made the game still crazy without it, but with it, everyone can do anything. People have new moves that like Vegeta could just go like for like 20 seconds. You know, it's wild.
I saw somebody ask on like the patch notes, like, did they add Gohan Blanco yet? Like as a joke, and like fucking
basically,
yeah, kind of.
Basically, you know. I mean, the first version of Dragon Ball FighterZ when it came out, like Gohan adult could like put you in like almost like 40 seconds of blocking kicks, you know, and then they got rid of that. And this is almost like, well, we're not putting you back in that situation, but we're not far from it. You know, like you can just eat the same shit like a bunch of times in a row, and the answer is yeah, we'll do it first to them. You know, so God bless, man. What an awesome move on the way out to just leave on a high note and be like,
it's a good move,
right? Like for everybody that liked this game, we're just gonna give you one last surprise over here. And I know that like if you have been practicing and competing and you're one of that small group of people that was keeping this game alive, God bless. I respect and understand that struggle, but fuck that shit. This is hype as fuck. This is the greatest, you know. And this is how you keep something exciting. You keep it alive, man.
I have a single popcorn kernel of empathy for those people, because I remember you and me talking and you were like, hey Pat, add something cool to Virtua Fighter, and I was like, no.
Yeah. I remember that.
I just like put my foot in the fucking dirt and said no.
Create a system for the new era. New colors. Shut up. Yeah.
2 new characters that represent obscure martial arts.
It's great. It's great. You know, what I would even say is in the future, I hope that, I hope that people are taking notes and that we see other games go out like this and have their Wild Omega mode. You can even put, if you would like, hey, little version select if you want people to be like, oh, I want to throw back and have a nostalgic memory of what I used to play or so, because the game was this for a long time, you know? But it's just such a great way to come back in the news with a game where you're like, yeah, no new characters. Usually you need a new character, some new stages, some new music, something tangible for
something
people.
Dramatic.
Yeah, for people who are not really like paying attention to the game, that don't to like latch onto in a way. But in this case, it's just like, nah, a balance change can get everybody talking, because what the fuck? Why is Android 16 or Android 17 able to Jesus Christ, Third time's the charm. Why is 18 allowed to do a fucking like kick to disc, kick to disc, kick to disc combo, and then get wilder follow-ups than she ever could before? You know, it's a fantastic move to go out this way on a fighting game. That's
like it's this. I'm interested to see people talk about the balancing on this because, like, okay, well, every single character in the game has touches of death now. How are we going to decide who's better or worse?
Hey, how about we look and we go, hey, you know Broly? You know Super Broly's pretty strong. So how about when his shirt comes off, when he does his level 3, he just gains meter for free because that's Broly.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, that reminds me of Broly actually. That seems fair.
Should Broly keep getting meter? Yes.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
He's Broly.
That makes perfect sense. Broly should always be gaining meter. Yeah.
He needs it. That's it, you know? It's great. It's great.
Like it makes it like the ones we've talked about are actually like it feels like they're like, well, what should Gohan be able to do? He should be able to do this. Okay, put it in. Put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ultra Instinct Goku should be able to close the distance instantaneously. Goku's really fast, and Ultra Instinct blah blah blah.
Fuck it. Just let everyone.
Yeah, fuck it. That's it.
You know, and as this game is it's not just a like Marvel-esque hyper crazy game. It's Dragon Ball, and you know what I mean. Like surpassing the limits, going further beyond is all the most on brand you can get.
Do you remember when Luke came out for Street Fighter V, and there was the statement that Luke represents the future of Street Fighter, and I said that sucks, and I was super wrong.
Right.
And the reason I was super wrong is because Alex Lee is super charming, and I really think he's cool.
Yes, but
they should come.
Also, because Capcom said it themselves.
Yeah, they should. Bandai Namco, Arc System, whoever, Dragon Ball should come out and be like, "This patch represents the future of future Dragon Ball games." And use this as the basis for Dragon Ball Fighters.
Well, the problem really is that I think Dragon Ball Fighters is just that there is none because they're like, yeah, we made it. It's called fucking Kakarot or Xenoverse 2 or
they should make another one.
In like they're like this was a Dragon Ball game and then we made the next one and the next Goku game has come out. What do you mean? We've already had 2 hot sequels and Sparking Zero is on its way. So the latest Dragon Ball game is on its way. Everyone get excited.
You know what, dude?
You know?
You're so right that I'm thinking like, oh, that sucks they do that. And I'm thinking about like, no, wait, I just played a Warhammer game over the fucking weekend. That's how Warhammer works also. They go, when am I going to get Space Marine 2? And they're like, there's a new Warhammer game coming out tomorrow. It's a tactics game.
What are you talking about?
No, I wanted Space Marine 2, please.
Yeah. You think they see any distinct? They're like, our Goku game has come out. What do you? He's there.
We put out 6 Goku games a year. Why are you at what was the?
You're crazy. That's exactly.
How many Gokus do you need?
Just, jeez, these fans. You know?
Do you want 8 codes for Dragon Ball The Breakers? What? No, you don't. Oh, but it's the same. I'm going to guess you also got that email.
Oh yeah. I installed it.
Fuck, man. I've never seen that ever. Just like, do you want 8 codes?
No, I installed it on the principle, on the strength, because the concept is still an awesome one that represents something that I would be asking for, which is what if you were a rando in the Dragon Ball world?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's an awesome idea, and I never want to pretend that it isn't, you know? For everything that was, it was like, yeah, I respect the risk. Because you know what? That was one of 6 Goku games. So why not try something different?
No, that's not a Goku game. There's no Gokus in that game.
But like there was like costumes to kind of become people for a minute.
I think the concept is a little too strong for its own good. What would you do if Cell attacked the city? I'd fucking die. Like what do you I'd fucking die. I'd be vaporized while eating breakfast.
No, but like even in games where you like you're a survivor, right? Dead by Daylight and all these things. Like there's ways to make all that gamified, but like you still have to have something powerful for people to do, right? There has to be a way for people to get something in there and feel like they can do something. So in Breakers, you can turn into a fighter, a Z warrior for a second.
For like a second.
Yeah. Anyway, I have nothing but love for the fucking Kusoge patch on that, man. It's great.
I have one last thing to say about it, and it's the impressiveness of how far they were willing to take it. So that patch came out, and people are posting clips on Twitter, and I'm looking at these clips, and I'm going, I cannot tell which of these clips are fake and which of these are real. And I was informed eventually that all but one were real. I thought I was looking at 50-50 of like, this is fake, this is real. No, it was just the one with Broly stomping in the air that was fake.
Okay, I didn't see that one. But look, man, if Goku's wearing a Supreme jacket, just because Lythero put that on him doesn't mean the combo's fake. That tech is real.
You know what? Hey, Arc System Works. Good for you helping Lythero out. He's got so much more shit he can fucking make.
New content released straight to Lythero's channel.
Just right to it. Like, here you go.
Yeah. Great. The other funny thing about turning that game on was when they implemented the rollback netcode, you can now, when you boot the game up, you select online and then you go, do you want rollback or delay? Because the old netcode still exists, and it's like, well, we built it, and
might as well leave it in there.
It's there, and furthermore, what if this one falls apart? We need to give, then if it all goes badly like it did on launch, then we need to give people ability to go to the other one, But just jumping into that, I'm like, let me see, and there was one person in the servers for delay-based Dragon Ball Fighters that was hanging out. They were in training mode. It was a Goku, and their name was Gaming.
Gaming. They were gaming, bro.
I'm like, oh my god. The last delay-based warrior.
I sent you the fucking stupid-ass clip that is the only fake one.
Okay. Oh, show your Momo. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Show you Momo.
And I'm like, I'm not familiar with this dude. I don't know if this is not real.
A bunch of nonsense edits. Yes, a bunch of nonsense edits coming out of this channel on a regular basis. Yeah, it's bro.
Follow this dude. That guy's pretty funny.
They're great. A bunch of hilarious. Yeah, Broly doing the walk stomp in midair. Anyway.
I like how that fake clip doesn't even do as much damage as some of the real clips that I saw.
Here's the thing, right? Anybody that has been labbing for a while now has a whole bunch of new shit to go discover if you are a lab monster. Like, it is there. And as I always say about team games, if there's a touch of death, at worst, it just means 1/3 of your team is dead, right?
Right.
So,
touch of death can exist in team games. It's allowed.
The next character comes in, and there's no... everyone starts in the same place. There's no, incoming mix-up on the characters, so...
You have bare minimum 3 chances to live, which is more than you can get in Third Strike if you're fighting Makoto.
There you go, right? If you get touched 3 times, but with each of your characters, then God help you, because that's your fucking fault.
Stop getting hit.
All right, and so beyond that, I've been I've been working on the last Joker in Balatro. There's one that is just make a hand that is 100 million chips in one shot.
That's rough.
That one's brutal, and I know the strategy for how to do it, and I've been trying to, but fuck me, is that elusive? Wow. So, yes, I'm currently unable to jonkle, but
so Wooly, I have a piece of advice for you about getting that last jonkler. So I stopped playing Balatro the instant I heard that there'd be a mobile port. So everyone shut the fuck up and plan your life around the incoming mobile port.
What an awesome we know. We've been working on it. productivity go down.
I love that trailer is portrayed as a nightmare.
It's the worst thing ever.
Like Balatro is being portrayed as a threat to your life.
It's crazy. It really, really is. Like having it on the Steam Deck downstairs is
already a problem.
Already, and it's like, yep, now it's always there. Forever. So just,
hey honey, I need to take my 7th shit of the day. Excuse me. Dun, 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 dun.
And they updated with some crossover like Among Us cards and Witcher cards and stuff as well, like recently. So there's a couple of patches and stuff that's been dropping. But yeah, hey, look, they finally announced Balatro Mobile,
and it's soon.
That being said, I guess it's like. Very often I am a huge proponent of not losing my save progress, and I hate that feeling in things.
I totally agree with you.
In this game?
Who gives a shit? Yeah, I'll do it
in this game? Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. Except for this instance where I have no issue whatsoever getting all that shit again, because fuck yeah, it was so much fun to do it. It's great. Run it back. No problems whatsoever.
Yeah, no, Balatro is the kind of game where you get every single achievement and like unlock everything, and you're like, I guess I finally beat it. Delete my file.
Yeah,
okay, I'm starting Balatro.
Load up the mobile version. Oh, would you like to import your save? No.
I'll import my mobile save back to my Steam version.
Now take that as that. Yeah, that is my recommendation. That's how much I'm in. I'm down to do it again. All right, quick bathroom break.
Yeah, I gotta go pee. Yeah.
BRB.
Piss.
So Mufasa has passed away.
That sucks.
That sucks.
I'm just sitting here getting ready to go back. I'm like, oh fuck, this sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones where I definitely feel like we've been hearing him less and less over the years, and it's, you know, I'm not sure how old he was, but rest in peace.
He's 93,
James.
So
yeah, rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Like it's this very strange thing. As soon as you hit 90, as soon as you pass away, people go, "Oh, that's terrible," and then they hear the age, and you're like, "Oh, but that's good."
Well, it's a
like that's pretty good.
It's a full ass life, is what it is.
Like 88's the average in Canada. It's 87 or 86 in the U.S. Like as long as you beat that, you're winning.
You know, and I mean, I don't think as well. Like I think he stopped working like quite a few years back, right? In general, like he was...
I saw Dick Van Dyke at the Emmys. I think he's 98. And he's like, I can't believe I'm still working. By the way, does anyone have any more work? I'd love to do more work. And it's like,
Christ.
What the fuck, Dick Van Dyke? You're sitting in a chair with a cane going, yeah, I'll act. Fuck it.
Yeah, he did. I want to say like they came up with like a solution for like there's a replaced sound alike or something for the Darth Vader voice, and then.
Do you know who does the Darth Vader voice?
Hmm?
It's the guy who did fucking Chad Vader Day Manager. Do you remember that fucking skit?
No.
Okay, so there was a really funny skit called Chad Vader Day Manager, and it was about fucking Darth Vader working at a fucking grocery store as the day manager. And it was this guy who convinced the people at his grocery store to let him dress up as Darth Vader and do skits. And he did Darth Vader for like Force Unleashed.
Huh. No shit. Okay. So
yeah,
that, I mean, I guess, yeah, if you had people already on deck for games and other things, then sure, because you're not going to get James for all that. But I did hear that he had sold his like sound alikeness for digital recreation. So I'm sure AI is part of that too. I had heard that. I saw there was an article about that some years ago, or at least maybe one or two back. But yeah, and then he did do the live action Lion King stuff, you know, as well. So I know that they were there for those, but
I don't know if we ever talk about it. And I know this is a bit of an aside, but I need to like. Those movies are not live action. Those are not real lions.
Did I say live action?
I hate it. I hate that those are referred to as the live action Lion King movies. I hate it.
Correct. You are correct.
Do you know how exciting
that shorthand
a live action Lion King movie would be? It would be the most exciting movie ever made. I point at an independent film called Roar, which was filled with 100 real lions. That was one of the most dangerous movie shoots ever because the lions just constantly attacked everyone because they're fucking lions.
It is absolutely not. That is correct. I think the photorealism shorthand, whatever bullshit. Anyway, yes, all that to say. I'm surprised they're making a second one. That's crazy. I guess it made enough money.
You think
that
it's
they
going
were
to be
like,
about Scar's fucking bastard son again?
Well, that's what the straight to video shit was, right? Like the whole the Disney sequel is not at all surprising because they made up to Lion King 3 or 4 straight to VHS. That was par for the course with every one of these movies, right?
Those Disney sequels were so awesome because every single one of them was like, hey, why does Genie sound different? It's because all the really big actors said, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Aladdin going to 3 or whatever on VHS.
That third one's all right.
But it's more just like, oh, there's a theatrical sequel they're doing, so it's like, holy fuck, I guess that thing really did make money. It's one of those bits where because it's so panned online and from everyone you know, it's hard to feel whether or not it actually was successful. But it made a ton of money, so it's like, actually, yeah, why wouldn't they? But you're just the zeitgeist feels like everyone we know and everyone around hated it, but perhaps that's just the online bubble, you know? I don't know. Anyway, quick word from our sponsors.
I love sponsors. Dynamic love for sponsor.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by Factor.
I love Factor.
Factor meals. That's the no prep, no mess, healthy meals coming to you.
What do you mean no prep?
I mean, you're talking about ready to eat meals in 2 minutes or so. No matter how busy you are, you can. The whole deal with the Factor meals is that you're getting something that is perfect for a balanced diet or lifestyle. If you're going for if you're trying to eat a little bit more calorie smart or healthy, I know I am. You are getting dietitian approved meals with ingredients you can trust, from breakfast to dessert as well. The whole thing. 35 different meals to pick from on a regular basis. 60 add-ons you can choose from every week as well, so you can always explore different kinds and not get too used to the same flavors. And yeah, you can get ready to eat in 2 minutes, no prepping, no cooking or cleaning up or shopping, delivered straight to you. You're also getting particularly premium ingredients as well. They've got filet mignon, shrimp, blackened salmon. That's pretty good. So yeah, whatever your particular type of meal preferences at this point, you've got calorie management, you've got protein intake. If you're trying to avoid meat, or if you just want to have a well-balanced meal, check them out. Head to factormeals.com/castle50 and use code CASTLE50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code CASTLE50 at factormeals.com/castle50, and you'll get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Thank you, Factor.
Thanks, Factor.
And this week, the podcast is sponsored by Henson Shaving.
Oh, man.
You know the deal.
We do know the deal. I need it. I got the neck thing going. It's bad.
Oh, the neck beard is rough. The neck beard is rough. Yeah. I've been trying to stay on top of some of the extra shag that comes in on the sides, because I've been experimenting with a couple of different beard thicknesses.
The baby pulled on my neck beard this morning, and I was like, all right, this is shameful.
No, don't do it. Yeah, I was trying out a couple different looks, and I kind of was like, I went with a thickness that was kind of like Dominican chin strap thickness for a minute. I was like, okay, I can rock that. That's different. But to get the precise, like laser-like lineup that you want to get a precise blade for that type of shave, and you want to avoid the bumps and all the like icky, bad razor quality feedback problems you get.
I have sensitive skin, so like oftentimes like I'll buy like a junk razor, and then it's like such a disaster that I'm just like, I'm gonna give up.
I mean, again, they treat you like a criminal when you go to buy it, and then the shave you get as a result is also criminal. So don't do that. Do not get yourself in the trap of the disposable dollar store razor that is garbage. You want to get in on precision with blades that extend 0.0013 inches past the shave plane of the razor. So that's less than the thickness of a human hair.
I cannot mentally conceive of this minor unit of distance that's beyond my human experience.
You are not supposed to. And speaking of beyond the human experience, that's exactly the type of precision we're talking about, because Henson makes razors in their aerospace machine shop in Canada, and they also made parts for the Mars rover and the International Space Station. So their machinists are exceptional at manufacturing, and their precision is one of the big reasons why the razor is so much gentler on your skin. Yeah, that is a I literally it's that level of thick. It's not. It's in my brain, just doesn't computer calculate. But the point is that you don't get the gross bumps and all that stuff that happens with a bad quality razor. So. It works with a standard dual edge blade that costs less than 10 cents each, and you want to get in with a clean shaven, and I was able to do so using the Henson shaving razors that I got. So if it's good enough, if the level of precision and engineering and ingenuity is good enough to send to space, then I think it's good enough for my face. Say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/superbeast to pick the razor for you and use code SUPERBEAST, and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure you add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/superbeast and use code SUPERBEAST. Thank you, Henson Shaving.
Thanks, Henson Shaving.
What is going on with you?
All right, so baby update, because the baby is the cutest thing ever. Baby update number 1. Baby is just deciding to stand straight up without touching anything and go ah every time he does it.
Nice.
Which fucking rules, but no steps quite yet.
Okay, just victorious standing.
Baby has entered into the helping toddler phase, which is your ultimate proof that humans are inherently good, in which the baby will grab any item in his vicinity and bring it to you and go, yeah, and hand it to you.
Nice. Because
he is helping.
Nice. I would like to assume that, like, yeah, that victory yell is one of, like, oh, just you wait till I can take a fucking step.
Oh, you know, a lot of parents are like, oh, I can't wait to see my baby walking around. Oh, it's gonna be, and I'm just like, I'm sweating. Mobility. The baby can already make it to the pantry very quickly.
Mm-hmm. You just gave him another level of trick, right? Like, like the teleport has been unlocked. Because
baby walking equals baby able to fall down.
Yes.
I don't want that.
Also, shadow stepping.
Yeah. No. And in violently depressing news, the baby is still throwing food on the floor and looking for the dog. So that makes me want to crawl into a fucking hole and die. So that's where I'm at for my emotional state. As for video games, what did I play this week? Played fucking Space Marine. Wooly, do you know about Warhammer?
The Codex Astartes, the Emperor of Mankind, and 50 stomachs, organs, lungs, and hearts.
Nailed it. You fucking nailed it. You did it. So Space Marine 2 came out. What are you laughing at?
Is there a Kiwi accent behind this thing?
Fucking no. So okay, no. First of all, my accent sucks shit. You know this. The reason why I do that every time is because in Space Marine 1, you fought the orcs.
Okay.
And every single time you turned a corner, there would be an orc in a Cockney accent going, "Oi, Space Marine!" Like literally
Cockney,
every single fucking time.
Okay. That was almost.
Also, for Warhammer's British.
Yes. Okay.
So, you know. So Space Marine 2 came out. I got the game for free, so everyone take that into account when I talk about it. That is a really goddamn good game, and it is taking its subject matter more serious than its existence as a game.
I have a really dumb basic question.
I bet I have a dumb basic answer.
Okay. So you know how in the derivative property StarCraft...
That's right.
The preface is important. One human soldier is relatively the equivalent of 2 Zerglings, which is the equivalent of 2 humans to 1 Protoss.
That's right, more or less.
Okay. So, like, what are the orcs up to and like in 40K given that the human space marines that are no longer human are these fucking insane beasts of creatures, like, does the average space orc hold a candle at all in the same proportion?
No, fuck no. Absolutely not. No way.
Because you know how, like, in the not 40K, an orc is a bigger, stronger, more threatening thing
let me just
standing
stop you
next to
right
a human?
Everyone in the chat who's a massive fucking nerd that read the Horus Heresy can correct me if I'm wrong, which you will. I know you will. Chapters in Warhammer 40K of Space Marines, like, you know, the specific, like, chapter, the armor color and, like, their organizational structure, is 1,000 dudes. And they'll send, like, half of that to fucking take over, like, a whole planet.
Okay.
That's the fucking math scaling you're going on.
Okay. So the Marines are not even remotely a metric to compare to anything else.
No, a Warhammer 40K Space Marine is going up against the entire StarCraft map.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Do not think of them as advanced humanity even. It's just
no. These things
gods.
are deific god beings.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So, to answer your question, is like, what are the orcs up to? The orcs are up to reproducing via mushroom spores. Like, orcs are just in 40K are just dust. They're like toe fungus that just lands on the ground and grows into an orc.
Okay.
So there's a lot of them.
Okay.
This is the deal.
Because, I ask because in every property that I'm familiar with, or even vaguely familiar with, orc is a shorthand for, you know, big, strong monster human. Threatening.
Yeah, bigger, dumber guy.
And then you can have little goblins that are tiny, sneakier little.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Then you can have elves that are like agile, fast, and pretty, and whatever. But they're all just like, you know, character archetypes that you modify, and then you have your human as the balanced 50-50 one, and so on. So, like, in this space context, like, orcs are no longer than the biggest, like.
No, orcs are a numerous swarm race
thing. Yeah. Okay.
Which is why they made a really good antagonist for Space Marine 1 that came out like 10 years ago. But so now we're on to.
But they still are the big threatening thing relative to the regular humans in the future. Just not.
Oh yeah, no, regular humans are like tiny little bitches by comparison.
Right. But they're
orcs are also weird in that, like, they just get bigger the longer they're alive with no upper limit.
Okay.
It's a whole thing. Warhammer 40K is like an entire universe that is existing entirely on the rule of cool. Like, every single concept exists to make you convinced that your $85 plastic miniature that actually costs 2 cents is worth $85, and then you can all. It's a privilege to paint it.
Of course.
So, Space Marine 1 came out like 10 years ago and was made by Relic, who's the guys who did Dawn of War, which is an RTS. And it was basically what StarCraft Ghost was supposed to be. It was like, hey, dude, what if you were on the ground in a real-time strategy game and you were doing that? And as a result, it was really good. It was weirdly good. It wasn't perfect, but like it was solid.
360, right? I think that dropped. Or,
yeah. Space Marine 2 comes in and goes, listen, do you want to play Space Marine 1 with better graphics? And I go, yeah. And they go, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have the same main character, despite the games taking place hundreds of years apart. We're going to have the same basic gameplay, mission structure, and multiplayer. But instead of the orcs, it's going to be the Tyranids, the bugs that are not the Zerg. Now, Wooly, you may look up the word Tyranid and go, that looks like the Zerg, to which I say, no, shut up, though.
Well, hold on a minute. Didn't everything from Warhammer come first?
Yes. That's.
Yeah, okay.
So,
you know,
what Warhammer?
Penny Arcade, It's one of your 7 black mouths sing the song that ends the earth.
Yeah.
You know.
So, Space Marine 2 is like, hey, do you want to play Gears of War with no cover but a really good melee system?
Okay.
That's what that game is. There's no cover, but there's a really good melee system.
Do Space Marines need to cover?
No, they are the cover.
They yeah, okay.
You are the cover.
Yeah, okay.
So you are being you're having like the like a basic encounter, like a normal room is like you and your 2 boys against like 150 bugs with like 4 or 5 like officer type bugs. You are using really good third-person shooting. I'm like genuinely surprisingly good third-person shooting with a full melee combat system that includes dodge rolls and parries.
Nice.
And multiple melee weapons. As well as a really cool mechanic where if you parry like a stronger monster or knock them over the heavy attack, you can shoot your gun and it'll zoom in on you taking your pistol out to just blow their fucking brains out.
So does this make the game play more like an EDF than a
no,
shooter?
dude, okay. It's like less complex God of War Ragnarok on the melee.
Okay.
And it is like a solid third-person shooter on the shooting. Like, and you are constantly doing both at all times.
I guess if the army or the thing you're shooting at changes from, soldiers shooting at you from different distances to bugs and creatures, then...
Well, don't worry. The bugs also have guns. Just certain kinds of bugs have guns.
That makes sense. There we go. Okay.
The bugs have snipers too. Crazy. Even though they're just dumb bugs.
Yeah, are they just fucking ass spitting it at you, I guess? Or...
No, they are holding guns that are smaller bugs. And the bugs that are the smaller bugs that are guns are shooting even smaller bugs as bullets.
Dead seriously.
I'm so serious. They're essentially like it's like a fucking it's like a fucking it's like holding a rat that vomits ticks at you.
Yeah, bugs all the way down. Yeah, okay.
No, bugs.
Okay, the dog that spits out the gun that shoots the bees. Mm-hmm.
So this is a game that has a really solid campaign with a story that has this awesome bell curve of person who doesn't really care about 40K will find this story like boring and uninteresting because 99% of all dialogue in this game is, brother, we must destroy the bugs for the Emperor, brother. Oh, I hate the bugs, brother. And die, bugs. Just like it's like dry like wrestling banter with like a pro Roman God Emperor fetish. It's super dry.
Okay. Are there any parts of this, or rather, how much of this is there like essentially reading pages out of the fucking?
No. It's super utilitarian.
Huh.
It's like you're on your ship and you talk to the chaplain and your commanding officer. The chaplain tells you that you aren't shit and that they think you're into chaos. Then your commanding officer says, you guys are fucking dumb. You got to get down there and kill every bug ever. And then you go down to the elevator and the 2 guys that hang out with you go, I don't know about all these bugs. Are you sure you don't love chaos? And then you get on the planet and you go, we're going to go here and kill the bugs. Then we're going to go here and kill the bugs. Then we're going to go here and kill the bugs. And then we're going to go here and kill the bugs for the Emperor.
Okay. They're not really taking you on a journey through the lore.
There is not one smile in this entire game.
I mean, fair. It's fucking Warhammer.
Yeah, but like, you know how it's like, oh, the marvelization and everything's jokey? Like, fuck that. No, this is about killing bugs because God told you to.
But that would be that's always been like, are there smiles to be found ever anywhere in 40K?
Yes.
Like, there are, yeah. With Space Marines?
Very rarely. And this is, so I'll get to that later. Yeah, fuck it, I'll get to that now. The game has a problem right off the bat, and this is a problem that only somebody who's tangentially or at least a little bit into Warhammer 40K would have. So you've probably seen footage of Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, and you have noticed that the Space Marines are blue. Say yes, you've seen them and they're blue.
I'll do so in about a second. Yes, they're blue.
They're blue. This sucks a lot because the Ultramarines, also known as the Blueberries, are the boring main character, not quite Roman faction of the Space Marines.
Gotcha.
They are the Ryu without any sauce faction.
Okay, the default soldiers.
They are as default basic as it gets.
So all that fun stuff that people talk about when it comes to the crazy factions and stuff, that's all the extra fun freak characters.
So they're not the space wolves with their focus on feasting and hunting and their cool fur coats. They're not the salamanders who look like the devil from a rock planet, but they're actually really nice. They're not the Raven Guard who just look really fucking cool and they're all about justice.
I see someone yelling, they're cool, okay. It's like, if you have to say okay at the end of that, then are you trying to convince yourself?
They're not the Blood Ravens who have like a secret dark past and like a blood rage thing with magic. No, Ultramarines are, I'm a fucking Space Marine and I love the Emperor and we have a vague Roman tint to some of our aesthetic, but they're the generalist, normal, stoic Space Marine.
Mm-hmm.
So are there Space Marines that have a smile? Yeah, actually, totally. You could have put the salamanders or the fucking you could put the salamanders or the
Harlequins. Is that a thing?
No, that's a elf shit.
Okay.
Or the fucking space wolves or the I forget this, but the Primarch looks like Genghis Khan.
White scars.
And he's super jokey. Yeah, no, there could have been, right? But no, we got the fucking, that's the white scars. Okay. Yeah. We got the as default as it fucking gets. And as an extra point of massive fuck annoyance, you start the game as one of the most interesting Space Marine chapters, the Death Watch, which is all the losers and criminals that have been kicked out of their fucking chapter. And then you segue into playing as a Ultramarine for the whole rest of the game.
Okay, now, when you say no smiles, though, it's like, are we talking about unhinged, crazy cultist smiles, or are we talking about, like, because you were saying Marvel quips?
The villain gets to have a laugh.
Okay. Because Marvel quips is I would never expect things that energy to show up in this type of franchise. But
I will tell you, you might have noticed that I said the villain gets to have a laugh, but I talked about bugs the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, Wooly, as this is a Space Marine story, it must follow a completely exhausting progression from the really interesting enemy that you were excited to fight to the Chaos Space Marines, which you are mandated to fight at the end of every single fucking 40K campaign ever.
Is that a bad thing?
So the problem is that the bugs and the Chaos Space Marines are mechanically different, which is good. In the first game, the Orcs and the Chaos Marines were mechanically very similar, except for the Chaos Marines just shot you way more and was very annoying. The issue is that the bugs are more fun to fight than the Chaos Space Marines.
Okay.
Like their enemy roster is like actually more fun to fight.
Okay.
So you get to 4.5 missions in and the game goes full new enemy roster and you're like, that's awesome. And it's actually really appreciated, and they're not like much worse to fight, but they're just not quite as fun to fight as the bugs.
Because you're getting like just soldier versus soldier tech battle.
Oh
Versus
no! Well, so here's where they did a massive upgrade. So in Space Marine 1, you fought like, I don't even know if they have like a specific chapter. You fought like generic ass Chaos Space Marines. They were Chaos Marines, but they were evil. They're evil Space Marines, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Space Marine 2, you fight a named chapter, which is one of the weirder ones, called the Thousand Suns, which is a chapter of Egyptian-themed dust mummy marines.
Okay.
That are all just automatons filled with magic corpse dust.
Okay. When you're fighting different factions in Warhammer, I don't know if this is the case or not, but in my head I imagine that you have like all the soldiers shooting and going nuts at each other with the armor, but then whatever crazy fucked up god they worship is also making shit happen with their faction.
So Space Marine 1 didn't really do that, but Space Marine 2 totally actually does do that.
And like god play is happening amongst the soldiers is what I imagine it's like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that does happen. So complaints aside, I don't care for the Ultramarines. That's my biggest complaint possible. The campaign is fucking awesome. The story is whatever. Who gives a shit? It is an excuse to shoot bugs and chaos. The narrative, who gives a shit?
Really?
Who gives a fuck?
Really?
The Space Marines are cool and they're gonna kill chaos. That's the narrative.
Shit.
Okay.
We're hitting Stranger's
What
Paradise.
it is an excuse to engage in the most bombastic, large-scale, outrageous set piece shit I have ever seen.
You have to understand as an outsider that when you go, what story, fuck that shit, in a Warhammer 40K context, and I'm like, you mean the thing with the longest, most detailed Wikipedias I have ever seen, with the densest, most insanely, specifically detailed story ever?
Remember,
we're hand waving the thing that's all about the lore.
Absolutely, 100%. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Every single Wikipedia detail exists to make a little plastic toy look more valuable than it is. All of it, right? And Warhammer, so there's a lot of Warhammer games. And when you make a Warhammer game, you get to do something really fun, which is look at a roster of like 400 different enemy factions.
Lore isn't story, right?
And go, I want to fight the rats this time. I want the Thousand Suns. That's a cool chapter. Like that kind of thing, right? So, hey, I'm going to spoil the gist of the plot for Space Marine 2.
Sure.
Okay? Get ready. The bugs are there, but Chaos was also there, and it was a secret, and Chaos wants to do evil Chaos shit, and then you have to stop them. That is every single fucking Warhammer story that has ever existed. Ever.
Are you... Is it ever... But is it, like, because they're evil, or is it because that you do it for the fucking Emperor?
So, they are there because they are evil. Everything that a Chaos Space Marine does is because they love evil. They love it. They love being evil. It's their favorite.
Okay.
They get up in the morning and they're like, I love evil. And you, because you love the Emperor, hate that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I also peripherally was under the impression that there's no real good anywhere. It's just different degrees of strength and different degrees of, I guess, blood and bloodthirst. And
you want to hear something really funny? There is one faction that at one time was good.
Huh.
So I don't know if you've heard of the Tau.
Oh, that name rings a bell, yeah.
So the Tau are a Asian-focused aesthetic race that is about the greater good. They're kind of like a Maoist, like communist thing, but with like a lot of Japanese robot aesthetic. They're
It's
aliens
spelled
and
with
they
a
have a
U
lot of
and not an O.
they're like aliens that have like an Asian aesthetic, and they have like a lot of robots. And their whole thing was for the greater good, and their society was about benefiting for the greater good. And they were kind of like weird that they were like good guys, that they were actually trying to make like a good anything. And then they got retconned into that being actually due to the upper class having like mind control.
Okay.
Like it was like, oh, you can't have good guys.
No, you can't have good guys.
You can't have them.
There's no good. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
The closest thing to ever have like a good faction in the entirety of 40K is like the Salamander Space Marine faction, because they actively try and minimize civilian casualties.
Okay.
Like that's as good as you're gonna get.
So I saw something about like some mocap of ASL in the game as well.
No, that's a different Warhammer thing. So here's the thing: I streamed Warhammer. I streamed Space Marine 2, so now the subreddit's going to be completely flooded with Warhammer shit for like a year, because Warhammer people can't help it, because there's so much. There's so much. There's so much.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, like on the Slop stream, I watched a video about the orb once, I think, and that set off an era. So yes.
But anyway,
the floodgates are open temporarily.
Who gives a fucking shit about the story? Whatever, it's a fucking excuse. But that excuse is to have big, cool battles, right? In that respect, Space Marine 2 has the biggest, coolest battles in a shooter I've ever seen, ever, with no qualification. I'm going to have minor encounter spoilers for the last 2 levels. So, of 6 levels, the last 2 I'm going to talk a little bit about.
Okay.
So
you beat
in
2.
The very beginning of the game onwards,
you beat it.
You will see a horde of bugs coming at you. And like, you see a horde in games, it's like 20 to 40 to 50 like enemies, like zombies or whatever, like think of Left 4 Dead. In like one of the first big set pieces in Space Marine 2, you see like 4,000 enemies running at you. And then you realize that those are real enemies that you are going to fight.
Right.
And it just kind of escalates from there.
Not a cutscene.
It is actually nailing the whole horizon is an enemy force coming to fight just you.
That's great.
And you beat it. And it is like absolutely crazy. Like it's why you have a melee option in addition to shooting. Like you shoot like hundreds and then you're just kicking and fighting, and it's awesome. It has Doom's glory kill system for regaining armor, that kind of thing.
I was gonna say, I'm imagining the Doom cover, right? Yeah.
So they're using the tech the team made for World War Z to just put shit millions of enemies on the screen.
Okay, the swarm.
So you're doing that with the bugs, and just the amount of bugs is escalating and escalating and escalating, and you're actually encountering quite often the situation where you have completely run out of ammo, and that's why you're in melee, because you are at 0 bullets.
Okay.
Because there are just so many. But for the series of finales, they do something that I wasn't expecting. Was the whole game has been 3 Marines versus like 10,000 enemies per encounter. And what they do is they give you a couple of little showpiece moments of like, well, what kind of encounter would 20 Marines fight? And you get to fight, what would 20 Marines fight in scale?
Okay.
What would it be like to hang out with a gigantic robotic tomb robot called a dreadnought and fight that fight? What would it be like to fight alongside like a high tier unit or like a captain or a hero in your army?
Planetary
and
scale.
it just like escalates, and then the next level escalates, and it escalates.
Nice.
And it escalates so high that at one point you are just like doing a firing line into hell for multiple minutes.
Holy shit. Okay, that's pretty fucking sick.
And like it is impossible to under like, and like the enemy force is functionally infinite.
Wow.
And you're doing it.
You're actually playing and doing it. Yeah, okay. That's fucking nuts. Sick.
And like as a result, like who cares about the story? The story is we have to stop chaos. Right? Bro, you fight a lot of bugs in chaos. Like it is fulfilling it is fulfilling StarCraft Ghost's dream to the nth degree of being a single unit on your RTS map.
Okay. Yeah.
Also the final boss is awesome. Like the final boss has a lot of like melee parrying, like Virgil shit. It's like it's not what I thought it was going to be. It's awesome.
For those of you who are actively in the 40K world and are painting those miniatures forever, how much story takes? How much of the world is lore of previous events, and how much is currently ongoing developments in an active story? Like, is it 99 to 1?
It is 99.9%. Can you believe that shit happened?
It's all the books. Yeah. Okay.
Can I find the Horus Heresy chart?
I mean,
is that if I type in Horus Heresy chart, will I get it?
I do. Yeah,
there it is.
I have wound up on Wikipedia entries and I've read really long pages. And
fuck that. You want the chart
without internalizing at all what happened or what I was reading.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the Horus Heresy chart.
Okay, hold on.
You want to hazard a guess as to what that even is?
Gotta zoom in here. The Horus Heresy timeline. Okay. So, are these the various books and the wars
novels
that they cover?
These are novels.
These are novels. Okay.
Every single one of those is a novel.
Okay. So yes, this is the active forward-moving timeline.
That represents like hundreds of thousands of pages to sum up. The Emperor's son Horus turned bad and made Chaos Space Marines.
Okay. Well, as someone who read all of Dragonlance, and then I read the spin-offs, and then I read the second in the Age, and then the shit going back to Ishtar and all of the, all the sort of supplemental material, I've probably read about maybe somewhere between 10 and 15 books. I get it.
The purpose of the purpose of Warhammer's story is so that when I'm playing Space Marine 2 and I see that the Imperial Guard, which is the normal human army, like regular normie humans with like regular guns and tanks, is the 8th Cadian Regiment. And they yell out that Cadia broke before the Guard. I go, that's cool. What does that mean? To which someone in chat will say, well, when the planet Cadia was attacked by Chaos, the planet literally exploded into chunks, and the Guard were fighting demons on the chunks.
Damn.
Thus, Cadia broke before the Guard did. Okay. And then I go, those are the guys.
I see.
Those are the regular little humans.
Damn.
Standing in as NPCs in this mission. That is the purpose of Warhammer's story. Yeah. So that there is a cool-ass factoid to go along with Jerry the army man that happens to be in front of you.
Are the games covering events that are known things, kind of like Halo Reach?
No, the games are almost exclusively like brand new side events.
Okay. Because it was because like Halo Reach is like, what happened? We heard about Reach. What was the thing?
Yeah,
it's here it is.
Right. Yeah. They're their own thing, nearly exclusively.
Okay. That's sick.
That campaign's a trip.
That's hot.
One slightly minor campaign problem. You see Ruin. You know what? they build up to like you're gonna fight a third enemy faction, and then you don't, and it's like, oh. But maybe that third enemy faction will come in DLC. Who knows? So that's a really cool campaign. And then they have a multiplayer mode, which is 6v6 shooter.
Oh shit! Okay.
With capture the point, death match. Like pretty normal. And before the game came out, I said, hey, I want this game's multiplayer not to be excellent, but to be pretty good. And you know what? I nailed it. It is not excellent. It is not a fully featured Call of Duty Battlefield multiplayer
Not the focus
suite
of development.
It is a really solid 6v6 shooter that has Space Marines in it and a class system, and it's pretty goddamn good. It's not going to set the world on fire, but when I finished that campaign, I went, man, I would love to shoot some fucking Space Marines in multiplayer. And then I did, and I had a really great time.
Okay. So you're looking for a Last of Us multiplayer mode more than a Metroid Prime 2 or a BioShock 2 multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
Still an afterthought, but
pretty good.
But some fun to be had.
So what's not an afterthought is the game's other multiplayer mode. So you can play the whole game in co-op, and that's cool because that's why you always have 2 other guys with you so that you can play 3-player co-op through every campaign mission. But throughout the whole campaign, there is another team of 3 guys that are doing the other half of your mission. So in a mission where you're like, hey, we got to fight a lot of these bugs. Can you guys flood the area with propane and blow up the bugs? And they go, got it. And then you never fucking see them again. Okay. They're going on the secondary mandatory co-op missions that have a full perk leveling system that is unique to it and a whole class system that is just for these like Left 4 Dead style multiplayer maps.
Cool. Okay.
And there's 6 of those.
Huh. Interesting.
And it's really good. It's not the best and it's not as bombastic as the campaign, but like there are bosses that you don't get to fight in the campaign because they're in the co-op campaign.
Okay.
Like you never ever fight the final boss of the bugs in the main campaign. That is in the co-op campaign.
Chalice dungeons only.
No, they're not chalice dungeons.
Well, no,
they're like just full proper missions.
But like a full boss encounter that you would not experience if you just played the story.
And I've only like poked my toe into that, and that's also pretty good. So the way that I described it on Twitter was like, this is 3 8 out of 10s combining to make like a 9. Because all of the pieces are really good. They're not the best, but they're all really good, and they're the most like they do the best job of like the fantasy of a Space Marine, like in war and seeing Warhammer from the dirt, like from the ground.
Are these the same devs behind the first game?
Nope.
Okay.
The devs behind the first game made Dawn of War 3, which was terrible.
Because I'm looking at Saber Interactive here, and I'm like,
they made World War Z.
Yeah, but they've made like there's a lot. This is a very active company, and I'm like, how is? I guess I'm just like this. I feel like I'm missing out on something. Are they like a support studio that, you know?
To be honest, I have no idea.
Because the amount of shit they have upcoming and the shit that they're credited on is just like extensive. Scrolling back through this list, and they're working on the KOTOR remake. They're on Descent. And then like going back from Warhammer. I'm seeing like anyway a lot Halo in there besides World War Z and so on. Yeah. Anyway.
So of note is that at some point, I think maybe this year or early next year, they are going to come out with a horde mode, which is like the absolute most mandatory mode for this kind of game against huge amounts of enemies. They're also going to add new enemies, but nobody can tell if that's new enemy like factions or new enemy types. It's probably going to be new enemy types and not factions, but yeah, who knows? And last but not least is in the multiplayer, the co-op missions and the PvP, you know, you can go and customize your little spaceman.
Yeah,
you can, bro, you can fucking go
you can.
nuts on it. So
I mean,
right
look,
off
man.
the bat, here's every chapter I have ever heard of's colors available.
Yeah, it, like Gundam Breaker 4, right? Just that just dropped with the like every gunpla option you should ever have ever is going to be in this thing. And like, yes, for a miniature, a series about miniatures, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you could paint your boys.
Oh yes, correct.
So yeah, no, it's super solid. I really like it. I'm very excited to go through the co-op campaign, and I also am very excited for the horde mode, and I'm just plunking away at the PvP because it's chill, it's fun, I like it, it's good to do.
Optional modes that are like just as fucking solid as
that are good.
That's a rarity these days.
Like back in the 360 era, I was like, well, this one has pack-in multiplayer, and you're like, oh, and then like 1 out of 10, we're like, oh wait, this is actually really good.
Like you boot it up and you see like a different studio name, and then like the frame rate is immediately different, you know, and like it just starts. Yeah, you're like, why are these buttons not the same? And what is? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, it does have some of that because like the way your character functions in between the 3 modes is different in all 3 modes.
Okay. I mean, shit, man. Spent a lot of time working on the Tomb Raider reboot, and it was like the multiplayer version of that versus the single player. It's like just wildly different controls sometimes, you know. And anyway, it's very clear that different people were handling these things, but
yeah, no,
cool.
it's super cool. It also looks great, but man, like it doesn't run the best, and it's because there's 400,000 bugs on the screen. Like it's like chugging sometimes, but then you like look at what's actually happening on the screen, and you kind of go like, all right. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's the horde from the mobile game ad that's rushing your tower, except you actually have to fight them.
Yes, it is absolutely that.
Yeah.
What else the fuck did I do? I played Astro Bot. It's pretty good. I tried to kill my PC, my PS5. That's what I tried to do. I'll get back to you on Astro Bot.
Keep that thing in a ventilated space.
No.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
This week, you can go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. Gonna be playing a ton of shit this week. Satisfactory 1.0 is out tomorrow. Holy fucking shit. I may be suffering through the fucking depths of despair, but I will play with my little toy factory and conveyor belts.
It's actually done.
Yeah.
1.0.
No, you should try that game. That game's fucking awesome. I'm also going to be playing the Castlevania. What's that? Sorry.
Seems dangerous.
It's yeah, no, it's got that. It's got that one more thing going on with it. I could just optimize these conveyor belts just a little bit. It could be a little cleaner. I'll be playing Hollow Body this week. Code provided by publisher. That looks interesting. It's a horror game. It looks kind of Silent Hilly. I'll also be taking a look at the Castlevania Dominus collection. Because those are the best Castlevania games. They are. Shut up.
All right. Yeah. So, not much. I mean, the main things we got into right away, but like everything about AstroBot and Days Gone, and then the Sony IPs were
fucking hilarious.
Were the meat of the news this week, but
they're gonna do a PS5 Pro thing tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So
which, like,
Tuesday event.
Let me speak for all of us when I say fuck off. Hey, did you guys enjoy being able to buy a PlayStation 5 if you felt like it? Well, get the fuck ready for that to be over. Now you can buy the shitty PS5 when you feel like it, but that good one's going to be sold out.
The good one's coming. I expect a bunch of VR2 stuff as well, because that continues to be a thing.
Also, like, I don't get it, because like I haven't run into even one PS5 game in which I'm like, oh, this is really chugging. But that's because I don't play games on PS5 anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm about 50-50 now. Because I still appreciate the like simplicity of like just not thinking about setup stuff. But I also know that I'm like, if I have a bunch of stuff that is like, the hard drive space is the biggest problem. You know, once it becomes once I have to start deleting too much to reinstall a new thing, then it's like, all right, fuck this. This is annoying. VR is in a weird space because I feel as if like as much as everyone is checked out, I think within the next perhaps single-digit years, like I feel like people can be convinced to return if a super crazy killer app, to use that old term, drops that is like a really good VR experience that also doesn't make you vomit. Like, but it needs.
You're adding a lot of qualifiers on this.
Yes, I am. But I think that like, essentially a revisit to this, like 3D, like, you know, like 3D TVs or whatever, like there's shit that's just gone and dead forever, right? But like I think VR tech, like if something comes out that is a like a humongous step forward for that, it can bring some attention back to it, and people and I could see myself picking something up and taking a look. But
so I think,
but lots of qualifiers, as you said.
I think you're wrong.
You think it's done?
I don't know. I don't think it's done, but I don't think it's going to be in single-digit years. I think you cannot possibly overestimate how much of a fucking wall VR headsets not being a pair of sunglasses is. Like the cables or anything that puts weight on your head at all.
So there's two things, right? There's a new piece of hardware that's easy, lightweight, and like completely not cumbersome. But if you had the same level of like interface and apps and games that you have currently, like that's only going to go so far before people are still just like kind of bored and or still feeling sick with it, or not just not fully invested. Whereas like the other, like the thing that I think the app or the game or whatever the case is that's like a really good experience can pull you in as like something novel to have, but it doesn't mean you're going to keep using this device. But you'd be willing to dip your toe back in to see what this particular thing is about, you know?
Yeah.
I think the form-fitting version of this current existing hardware would be interesting, but not enough, because there's still just not enough interesting things to be doing with it, you know?
Yeah, so I think that we've seen a killer app with VR. We saw Alex.
Alex was an example.
Which is awesome, right? And then you bought your VR headset and played Alex, and then you got to play fucking nothing for years. So I don't think any killer app is good enough unless it's multiplayer.
That could
something as big,
something
and
persistent
as bad as Counter-Strike has to come out and only be VR.
I don't know that it has to be multiplayer, but it needs to be a persistent thing that you would play over a long period of time, for sure.
Right.
But the inception of this feeling is that like a lot of peripherals and things and gimmicks come and go in the game industry, and I feel like VR is like Sony's still trying right now, and there's other stuff that's going, and it's clearly the interest is waning. But like I think it's like it's not gone in the rear view mirror completely after this, you know? I think it's kind of hanging in there in this weird space, and like something might come along that could, people are not completely checked out on the whole concept if you can fix those problems, essentially. Whereas
I also think there's a something we really need to focus more on. So I just typed into google.com, how many people get sick playing VR games?
Everyone over time. It's a chart that goes straight up.
The most up-to-date statistic I can find going back to September of 23 is anywhere from 40 to 70% of all people will eventually get sick, and eventually is within 15 minutes. That's too high.
I've had it go. The game depends, right? Like I've had way more I've had the ability to use it for like an hour using Google Maps. You know?
Do you fucking hear yourself?
But the what?
That's so nuts. That's like the weakest shit ever. Well, you know, I could last like an hour if I was looking at a still image.
I'm not running defense. It's fucking garbage. I'm not defending this shit. I'm saying...
No, I'm not talking about defense. It's just like the thing you said is like legitimately crazy. It's so nuts that they haven't been able to fix the fact that these devices make you want to fucking throw up.
No, and like and certain games just like that, that number decreases. The games I want to play the most are probably the worst for it. Fucking Rez and Beat Saber and, you know, fucking Horf Simulator. You know, like you're just, it's like it's gonna be rough the whole time, and that is like every human being over a given amount of time will eventually get sick. That is a thing that needs fixing, whatever the solution be. Anyway.
Like if it comes like if it comes back and they're like, listen, we got the VR down to the sunglasses, like it's a pair of sunglasses with like 100 extra grams. Wow. Okay. It's wireless. Amazing. And Fortnite 2 coming at you VR only, right? And you're like, everything's set up.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's $300.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Makes 25% of kids under the age of 18 vomit within half an hour.
So
fucking dead in the water.
You start moving in that whatever that platformer was that I tried, where you're moving around at video game speed and not human walking speed, and you just your stomach just turns upside down in seconds.
And like, I don't get motion sickness ever. Okay, and like I have played a couple of the bad, like less well put together VR games, and just. Like it's just a violation of like your proprioceptive space.
Your brain hates it.
It might be a technological dead end. Like the biology may not allow this technology to hit mass popularity.
Yeah, I know that like they've like the investment in like all the shit they did in Eagle Flight or whatever was like, you know, things to make you feel a little less sick by focusing on the beak, by having feathers to look at, by having, you know, peripheral speed lines, and there's all these little tricks that do stall the eventual Horf from happening. Like you can stall it. You can stall the Horf. You really, you know. But like, I'm sure that's the number one like golden problem is like, how do we not make the clientele barf eventually?
It reminds me of like so people in our chat or people listening at home on the pre-recorded version of the podcast, many of you never got to actually use a Virtual Boy. I know you got to use a Virtual Boy, Willie. That thing lives on in my memory like a beacon because that thing had a 100% debilitating migraine rate over like 10 minutes. It was unbelievable. It made everyone who ever used it sick right away.
The craziest part was that like it didn't even need to be VR because there was no gyro to it. All the visor did was add depth to the game you were playing.
It added one layer of parallax.
But it was not like anything where you're like, oh, I'm looking around and then the gyro is tracking my head movements. Therefore, a fake world is making my brain think that that's where I am, and thus I feel sick. It's just locking you in this dark red room all you gain is a sense of depth, and then immediately feel fucking gross.
It cannot, if you have not personally used a Virtual Boy, it cannot be overstated how instantaneously physically painful it was to use it within. You can feel,
but the difference,
brain seconds.
But the difference is that you felt it in your eyes and head, and not in your stomach.
Yeah. It was like somebody just.
It was your eyes. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
light is touching me.
It was your eyes that felt it. You know.
I still can't. But like of all the stupid video game shit we talked about, it's the thing I'm most surprised actually was purchasable, ever.
For a half second.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yeah, until VR discussions become ridiculous to compare them to the Virtual Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Until that comparison is stupid and unfair, I don't think VR is gonna pop off.
I think the end result is still gonna be VR/AR device, where seeing the real world around you with a bunch of shit on top of it means you don't get sick.
Well, then we're running into a different problem, and it's a problem that Apple's running into with their thing, which is, hey, do you want a VR/AR headset? Yeah, sure. Are you willing to look like a complete fucking stupid piece of shit?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably not.
Like they do an Apple ad thing where they're like, look, I'm living my
not
posh,
the vision, not the AI,
bourgeoisie lifestyle, and you look at them and you go, that person looks like a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, as wild as it is, like, it would have to return to the direction of the Google Glass as opposed to the Apple Vision.
Yeah, that had its own problem, which was it had that beta release, which meant only the worst people in the world had them on.
With scouters walking around Silicon Valley.
Like, hey, look, that guy's got a new piece of technology, and because of the way it rolled out, it's attached to the most annoying person I'll ever talk to in my fucking life.
Oh God, everything is being captured. This is all being recorded right now. Great, you know. Yeah. But like that direction of like it's eyewear, and you're not using like a giant weird, like even like Geordie LaForge glass like things are like, okay, at size and relative scale, you know, you look like an asshole, but the putting your fake AI eyes on the see pass through thing is like, yeah, no, that's not, you can't, there's nowhere to go. That is a dead end. There's nowhere to go with that. Anyway.
In terms of style anyway.
But yes, so beyond Days Gone and the Bend Studios' inability to protect their legacy, which just man, anyway, I keep coming back to that because that phrasing is like, protecting legacies is often not a great
you don't have
not
a
great
legacy
marching orders, you know?
If there's just one game. That's not a legacy.
But well, I can tell you that the Minecraft movie has a legacy to protect, and the I don't know if you saw the trailer for that, but
bro, that looks like shit.
It's really funny because I feel like I've seen memes of like, you know how there's always like, yo, hire this man now, right? And then Mario and Sonic running around the Unreal world. So there's
never seen the movie version.
So there's always been the like, what if Minecraft was real? And it's just like these fucked up renders of like Minecraft creatures and animals with realistic textures on them. And they actually just committed to that. Like the bit is like, what if Minecraft was real is exactly what the movie is essentially.
I think that we have hit in record time the fucking total failure point for a movie like this, which is people working on it going, it's not for you guys, it's for kids.
Yeah, well, I felt that immediately watching it. I'm like, oh, this is super not for me. This is for anyone.
It's like, but like, hey, kids deserve good movies too, shithead.
So here's the question, right? What is the gain and loss in making it like an actual just animated full Minecraft movie that looks like the thing versus the live action marketability and faces and actors and kids and star power, etc.
Oh, I can tell you. So kids don't give a fuck about Jack Black. They look at Jack Black and they go, "Who's that old guy? That's not Steve."
Well, it's Jumanji Man.
Children.
It's Jumanji Man though. He's funny Jumanji Man.
I don't think kids are watching Jumanji.
I think Jumanji was a pretty big fucking mainstream hit.
I think Jack Black is in there because somebody who sits behind a desk and commits Hollywood crimes went, "We need a big star for the fucking Minecraft thing. Who's good?"
Kung Fu Panda.
Can Jason do it? Jason's a silly guy. What about Jack? That movie is being made for an investment portfolio, and like all movies are, but like look at Sonic trying its best, doing Sonic shit and having Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, and they're gonna shoot that little girl in that new movie. They're doing it.
Okay, everyone seems to be all right. Then if kids don't know, I thought the new fucking whatever was popular with the kids, but it seems like most people think no. So all right, fair enough. That is from some time ago. But I'm like, what else has Jack Black been doing that kids would know? Kung Fu Panda, you hear his voice, but you don't really know that that's him necessarily. Yeah, I guess not. Then I don't know. I assume that's why they sign someone like that up for that type of role and whatever.
Oh, he was Bowser.
He was Bowser, but do kids know that he's Bowser?
Why.
You know, I mean, there's that, but like, in terms of like, do kids know, or is the question? And it's like,
I don't think kids know that. I think saying that this movie's just for kids, bro, chill out, is like, Minecraft kids are like hyper fixated little freaks, right? Like they're gonna pick your shit apart like crazy. Like they're gonna be much harsher to it than fucking adult critics would be. Think about how fucking mad children would be.
Also,
if Ringo or George Carlin didn't play Mr. Conductor in a Thomas the Tank Engine movie.
Also, hold on a second. Again, I might be just completely off my fucking rocker, but like, kids that are into Minecraft kids are also much older now because Minecraft blew up as a thing that was popular with kids.
Yeah, so we're talking
10 to
about
15
adults.
years ago when Jumanji came out. So
yeah, no.
Aren't you talking about the same relative time frame that the kids that were into Minecraft as kids were getting into the thing that when Jack Black would have been known? Like, what the fuck are you talking about then? Is that no? We're like, Minecraft is currently.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. There's two things happening right now. One is, dude, it's not that big of a deal. This movie's made for kids. But if the movie's made for kids, then why'd you include Jack Black, which would appeal to people who are over 20 years old? Oh, because people who are over 20 years old grew up with Minecraft. Well, then the movie isn't made for kids, is it? Because you're including a famous actor who would be primarily known to adults. So it's actually made for everyone, or people in their late teens or 20s. So you saying, oh, it's just a kids movie, as the people making the movie, is you're admitting that it's fucking shit off the bat and that kids deserve shit. And it's like, you think Disney goes, oh man, it's just a fucking kids movie, we don't fucking Hellfire, whatever.
I'm surprised that I thought that, I didn't see it, but I thought that the Jumanji newer movie was such a big crazy fucking hit that's why Kevin Hart and Jack Black and The Rock and all that are just getting put in tons of shit, and that was just a part of their massive. No, they're just kind of
getting in everything. Like they were.
But I thought that was the reason why. I thought that the newer Jumanji movie from a couple of years ago was the beginning of that big thing, and was such a big impact in Hollywood. That was. I got to
admit, Wooly, you're the only person who has said Jumanji to me with your voice in like 25 years.
So not, of course, not the Robin Williams one, right?
That's the only one I've ever talked to a human about.
Okay, I'm talking about the one from like 2017 or whatever it was. So yeah, okay. I was under the wrong impression then. It seemed like a humongous deal.
You know what they were saying when they were making Inside Out? Pfft, fuck it, let's phone it in. It's for the kids, whatever. They did not say that. By the way, I should probably see Inside Out too, because like apparently that's the most money movie ever made. Money.
Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, 995.3 million USD. Was this a? Anyway, whatever. Was it? Impactful in 2017? I don't know.
Why so much news about? Sorry, why so much
I
noise
don't know.
about Jumanji
I
now?
have no idea. I think I'm like Jack Black was like Tenacious D guy, and then he hit like School of Rock, and then like he still was in a relatively weird space in like the Hollywood mind, and then Kung Fu Panda and that thing were I was under the impression.
Oh, hey kids, you want to go see Minecraft? Steve's played by that guy who turned off the lasers with his penis when he fought the devil. That happened. I remember that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not to hyper focus. I'm just like, I feel like I'm being gaslit, and I had a weird, like, I experienced something and now a bunch of people are telling me it didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, I guess I can't.
Jumanji
fact
came
check
out
it
like
right
25 years ago. It had Robin Williams in it.
Yes, right, okay. Like this might be one of those bits where after the fact someone pulls some shit up and then I read it and then you see what the details are. But I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't know. Again, I didn't fucking watch it, but
I think our audience may just not be into Jumanji.
Perhaps. But Jumanji 3 was the 10th highest grossing movie of 2019. Okay. Sure. It's fucking insane. Like, anyway, whatever. Okay. I'm like, where are we going? This is wild. Anyway.
Should I watch Jumanji?
I have no idea. I assume it's bad. I have no clue. Beyond that, Jesus Christ, I lost where I was.
Yeah, no, a little bit.
Hey. So, how about the first thing you do after getting out of jail for defrauding everybody and trapping them on an island?
Yeah.
Is let's run it back. Fyre Fest II. Confirmed.
So I'm going to be blunt. Everyone who goes to this island and gets eaten by cannibals or wild bees or something deserves it.
So Billy McFarland went to jail. He was sentenced to 6 years, did 4, and has just come out and immediately has announced Fyre Fest II will take place in April on a private island. And it's kind of one of those moments where it's like, okay, so because it got so popular from how fucking horrendous the first event was and the fraud and everything that occurred, it's like, but we have an opportunity to turn this moment around. You see, all press is good press. And so
that's not true.
Yeah, no, all press is good press.
I disagree. There is such a thing as bad publicity.
He had 4 years in jail to think about the plan, and now, as he's out, he's putting it into action. Where is Ja? I have no idea. I'm sure we'll find out. But never mind Ja. What about Andy King? What about Andy, the guy who had to get the water? Does anyone remember the guy who had to get the water? Andy? He got the water.
Don't be real. If you go to jail for 4 years for some kind of white collar crime, you're stupid as fuck. Isn't the whole point of committing white collar crimes that you don't get fucking caught, or you can fly away, or some shit?
I mean, the real point is that you do 2/3 of your sentence because he got out in 4 instead of 6 at the end of the day.
Did he even make any fucking money?
In any case, it is happening next April, and you bet your ass that the spectacle 1,000,000% will get tons of people to check it out, to see what's going on. And they're already saying, yeah, they want to get 3,000 people, and yes, they're going to have cheese sandwiches, and they're going to be super deluxe gourmet expensive cheese sandwiches, and it's just the ultimate, right? Anyways, good stuff. All
right, so I'm going to say it again. Before any details come out or the news reports any of the deaths, you're a dumbass. You shouldn't have gone. What were you thinking? Thank you.
And I would say as well that, like, I'm sure this is, like, as this announcement just kind of comes out, it's like, okay, it's going to bump around a bit. But as this kind of ramps up, in addition to, again, people like Andy who had to get the water, what about all the fucking employees that were working at the first event that never got paid, that were essentially just fucking completely defrauded of their work and services and everything, as they peeled out and never paid them for everything, as they destroyed the island and yeah.
Who knows?
So cool. Fun.
It's very similar to when the Bored Ape dudes got all blinded by that shit, and you're like, okay. That's fine.
So, do you think you'll be watching the Super Bowl next year?
I think I might.
You think you might tune in to see what's going on?
I think I might.
Any interest in
I have a small interest in football.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing...
Minor curiosity.
The funny thing is that the NFL has announced that the Super Bowl will take place during a Kendrick Lamar concert. Really bold timing, you know, to set it around the concert. But a game will take place before and after Kendrick Lamar plays to a stadium.
I don't think anyone's ever been as owned in a public, like, media non-killed fashion as Drake is.
So
the Super Bowl, the whole world is gonna dance along to the Drake is a pedo song. The whole planet.
Like, literally, the families, the children, everybody for the world. And how many times do you play it? I don't know. We'll see, right? And this is the audience that, like, you know, notorious Super Bowl shows over the years. Like, are they gonna let him just play the entire thing uncontested, like uncensored?
I was recently informed on Twitter. I don't know if you also were added in the message, but somebody was at, like, their nephew's birthday party for, like, 6-year-olds, and they had a DJ who was playing Not Like Us and just mixing out the swears manually.
Sure, but
it's like that's dire.
But here's the thing: even if they do censor it, it's not like the stadium won't be yelling certified pedophile.
Is hold the camera out. Sorry, the microphone.
Hold the mic, and the entire stadium jumps in anyways. So yeah, Kendrick Lamar confirmed to be playing the Super Bowl show next year, and it's the funny part about it, of course, is, like, you know, of course, all this because Drake couldn't hold it. Sure, that's great, but there has been recent rumblings, as Drake has kind of implied, like, gearing up for a round 2.
Hey, bro.
He's like, there's been some posts and some subliminal weird, you know, some little IG stories and hinting at, like, oh, we're gearing, like, oh, round 1 got us in the first half, you know, but he started to get the energy going to see if there's any response to, like, okay, but watch what we come back with, though, right? To which, in the promotion, Kendrick is just there using the pass machine, saying, like, I'm going to be replaying the Super Bowl, and I hope you all pull up. You know, there's only one opportunity to win a championship. No round twos. Oh, man. Like, the audacity of Aubrey to actually be like, yeah, okay, all right, but watch what we got coming up next, though. It ain't over. Like, oh, you had all this time to internalize the lesson.
You're right, Drake. You unsuccessfully defending yourself from the allegations that you touch kids means let's go in again.
Man.
What
Man.
You know what?
And like
Kendrick should do at the Super Bowl. He should just walk up and play the fucking background music and just hold the microphone
right,
out
exactly,
and let the
exactly.
crowd
like,
do the whole song.
Like at the Kids' Choice Awards when they just played the instrumental and the crowd of kids were singing along with the lyrics.
Just let the crowd do the whole song.
So yeah, the thing is, a couple of weeks ago is when some of these like round two things started to you know, start rumbling around. And like, of course, he wouldn't have any reason to say or comment or post any shit. But it's like, you know what? I'm going to be announcing that I'm at the Super Bowl, so let's take the opportunity here, like, you know, from the space station. To speak down to the dirt, I guess. It's crazy. And yes, that did actually happen. There was a Not Like Us instrumental played at the Teen Choice Awards or whatever it was. And like,
well, hey, listen. If anybody needs to hear Not Like Us, it's the people at the Teen Choice Awards. They need to be aware.
Man, the incidental dismissal while announcing your Super Bowl show is fucking crazy. But there you go. Good stuff.
You know what? Drake would earn a little tiny piece of respect in my heart if he was at that goddamn Super Bowl and they could cut to him watching the song. If he had the fucking balls to go and fucking sit in a seat.
No, because we already know he went to like other parties and events where they couldn't play any, they had to be careful about the music played, and it wasn't just not only that song but anything from the competing labels or whatever. There's sensitivity about what would be played and such, you know. And he's been putting out other genres of stuff, and people around have been like, oh yeah, he's doing good, he's thriving, he's, you know, moisturized, living his best life, I'm sure. And you know you're unbothered when you start talking about trying to get that round two off, you know.
Fuck, it's been months.
Damn.
It's like, come on.
Moog beat the allegations in the time.
That fucking crazy?
In the time that this entire thing,
the Lord of Blood,
the Lord of Blood, has
the allegations.
Successfully defended himself against the allegations where Drake could not. Wild timeline.
Absolutely fucking bananas.
Oh man. All right. Heard some good shit's coming to Baldur's Gate with the final patch.
Well, so okay, first up, they're like, joke's on you, shitheads. This isn't the final patch. We lied. There's more
tweaks are coming.
So there are three main things with this patch. The first of which is they gave every single Origin and the TAV the most evil fucking ending ever is now available for all of them.
So I heard that the evil endings that are now possible are unstreamable.
They are so fucked that the nudity, explicit nudity button in the options has been changed to the nudity and explicit scenes option.
Jesus Christ.
They are big murder, and it's everybody gets one. Everybody gets one horrible fucking, oh, I want to go maximum shithead.
Wow. Yeah. So that was part of it. I guess that's Dark Urge related.
No, that's everybody.
Oh, wow.
Every origin gets one.
Okay. And then they also introduced an official in-game mod browser.
That's right. Do you want to guess what the day one full front page of that mod list was? I bet you think you can guess, but I don't think you can.
I mean, hold on. What's okay. I mean, obviously fucking loose dongers and big busts aplenty is gonna be high up on that list, but probably like hairstyles.
So you are way closer with the hairstyles.
Okay.
Day one, full, every mod on the front page. What if this character was a gnome?
Oh.
What if instead of Minthara, it was Minithara? What if instead of Lae'zel, it was Lil Zell? What if Astarion was a Shortian?
Oh, race changing.
Specifically gnomes.
Small. Wow.
Didn't expect it.
Cute, curiosity, and fetish on display.
Yeah.
Damn.
But the single most popular mod is better interface. So like more tooltips and shit like that. And the second most popular mod is removal of the party limit. Do you want to roll with the whole gang all the time?
Wait, and does it like work? Does game?
Yep. Yes, it does.
Really?
There were 2 points in the game that would freak the fuck out if you had more than 4 people. Every long rest, which was a problem, and the boat from the Underdark to Grimforge would go nuts if you had more than 4 people. But those bugs have been fixed in the mod. There might be a couple like issues hither and thither with it. But yeah, no, do you want to roll with like 10 party members?
What happens to like incidental conversations and like
it picks one of them at random.
It just grabs people. Yeah. Wow. Also,
and some characters have like a higher priority to do certain conversations.
I'm sure it's probably completely impractical from like managing, updating, and keeping track, like leveling, like all that shit must just take a billion years to go through everybody.
Totally,
and handle.
Absolutely.
But if you want to do it,
but on the other hand, the game is a joke.
Yeah.
If you have
fucking every members. Fight has like 10 people, like, and you have every possible skill to just dump on everybody. Like
so. That's what insane. They're doing is that the people who made the adjustable party limit mod, it's called, this September, they're putting out a new mod, which is a difficulty tuned to having every party member in your party at all times.
Whoa. That's advanced. Okay.
But for now, you could just kick on honor mode and just fucking throw yourself at it, right?
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Okay, so they like, because that's a fun idea that just feels like it's you accept that this is impractical and is probably gonna bork up many times as you go, but fuck it.
But yeah. Hey, guess what? Even making the party limit 6 is like a big fucking deal. Because 6 is the classic party limit of like these types of games. So like in Baldur's Gate 3, one of the only things that's really annoying is that you cannot have a fighter, a cleric, a rogue, an archer, and a mage. That the 5 like all main classes, ones. Yeah. You can still only have 4. And usually you would have two melees.
So I'm assuming that
and
also,
like a rogue and a ranger and a divine and an intellect spellcaster.
So if you're uncapping that limit, you can also probably hire the wandering
hirelings.
Yeah, hirelings.
I believe the number goes up to 16 on that mod.
Oh my god!
which is like wildly unmanageable. That's
gang, just gang rolling through the fucking story, yo.
That means you are going into most fights with more characters than there are enemies.
What a curb stomp the adventure. That's crazy, man. Yeah, pull up.
Oh, here, I have a photo of it. Of how fucking stupid it is. This is the usable party.
Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh my god.
We're gonna save Baldur's Gate.
Brought the hood with me. Brought the whole hood. Damn. That's
also
that's
there
insane.
is a very, very minor change to the Dark Urges thing that is of note in that patch. They have made it that if you play as the Dark Urge, the Bard will actually join your party and be selectable, controllable, and level upable for a small amount of time.
As opposed to
not being selectable or controllable or level up or any of that.
Okay. I don't think I saw any of that, but
what else? There was one last thing. Oh, this is of note to everyone who ever wants to play the game with split screen. They have changed the way split screen works. That split screen will now
proximity.
Split and combine
when you get close again, which is great. That's really cool. That's a fun little quality.
Huge improvement.
Yeah. Nah, man, I want to see 16 people stomping on an owlbear, just fucking JoJo Part 5 in it into the dirt. That's incredible. Okay.
Yeah, and then they were like, hey, by the way, that's not the final patch. They're going to be working on a photo mode next, and there are a couple little things they want to polish off before they're done.
LOL, we lied.
So like every time they do a patch, they go, this is the last one. And then like the day the patch comes out, they go, haha, no. Idiots. Okay. We're going to keep working on it.
That's sick. And internal mod browsing and stuff that's streamlining it that way too is pretty good as well.
Oh, dude, it's so much easier. Baldur's Gate 3 before this was actually a massive pain in the ass to mod.
A lot of like
really annoying
folder juggling and like
you had
versioning.
To do a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Okay. Does that imply? Wait, no, you can't make crossplay mod things. No, yeah,
crossplay's coming.
But like I'm like, would there ever be a way to like have a mod list that was from PC but over on a console that was like
absolutely, because mod support's coming to all the consoles. It's just not ready quite yet.
So you make a mod on PC, you upload it to the library internally, and then it's available in the console shops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, if that's actually that's incredible then, because modding on consoles is never a thing.
You'll need to make sure that everybody has all the same mods.
Yeah. But like console modding is literally just never a thing.
Oh yeah, totally. Though console modding is going to be a little more restrictive.
Okay. Oh, previous Bethesda games have done that. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. All right. Cool. All right, let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
All right. Hello, chewy meat, and fuck you got a strong jaw face.
I don't know who's who.
Dylan asks.
Not me. I don't have a strong jaw, so okay.
Dylan says, I hate steak. This is because growing up, when my dad made steak, it meant a skirt steak, which is a tough cut, unmarinated, seasoned with generic bottled steak seasoning, and cooked over the grill until the entire outside was black and the inside was dry.
Fuck that.
I would drown it in ketchup to get down enough that my parents would let me stop eating it. This has given me an aversion to steak in general. My question is what foods or things do you hate that you think you would have liked if you had experienced the good version first?
It took me 25 years to be able to eat lamb again, because my grandmother would make lamb, and the lamb could only be described as covered in slime, which is not how lamb is supposed to be. And so, like decades after the last time I ate lamb to eat it and not have like a violent internal revulsion.
Yeah, it's funny with the steak that like I've fortunately didn't have anything like that. Lamb is great, but all it takes is the one time. So I've already talked about how like my dad with the well done steak shit is insane, and then similarly,
what the fuck was up with that fucking generation of dudes?
So and Reggie,
my dad did the same shit.
Reggie's mom as well, though. Like, and there's a thing with like West Indian parents in particular being anti-blood, right? Blood in the meat is just no. And it's not
blood's just for Jesus,
right? And it's not really blood. It's actually like it's like whatever. The name of the
like people
there's
like
a name
nerds.
For the fluid.
The red shit dripping out of my raw meat isn't blood is the most like. Well, actually,
but
it's plasma. Shut the fuck up. It's fucking blood.
But the point being that like the thing that the parents are afraid of in this case is not even the thing, you know. And it tastes fucking incredible. But like, yeah, so that insanity, I was able to escape, and you know, Reggie's had the same thing. It's weird. It's wild with that. Yeah, obviously, you know, the old egg salad fucked me up.
I fucking hate egg salad.
That's never going anywhere. But I mean, like, I think there's probably some other stuff that like I'm like, if I got this in the right context, I might have been into it. But...
You know what? I have one. I was talking with Paige about this in the car like last week, and I was like, man, I fucking hate tequila. I fucking hate tequila. Not only does tequila taste like shit, but it literally always represented a bad time for me.
Right.
Something shit is going to happen if I'm drinking tequila. And so we went out to dinner a couple nights ago, and I was like, you know what? I like this place. I'm going to order a tequila drink, and I had it, and it was nice. And I didn't go, fuck, this tastes like shit fucking tequila. So I was like, this is a nice drink. So
tequila is one of those ones where shit tequila is so disgusting and great tequila is so nice that it runs an extremely, extremely diverse gamut of quality compared to a lot of other boozes.
Yeah, the gamut between like dog shit vodka and the fanciest vodka ever is like, that's a little better.
It goes smoother or it goes a little harsher, you know.
A little smoother.
But what I will say is whether it's tequila, whiskey, gin, fucking rum, whatever, pick your poison, everyone at some point in their early years,
in gin,
everyone has that one night that's the bad one where they don't know their limits and they hit a wall and they fucking horf it up, and then you wake up tasting the raw ingredient. You wake up tasting the potatoes or the wheat or the barley,
or the agave,
you know,
or whatever.
And then that flavor in your mouth creates an association with the sickness that you will never forget, and then the smell of it makes you go, get that away from me forever. But that is, you pick, like, for some people it's tequila, but for some people it's vodka. For some people, you know, but you always you create that, and that is meant to exist so you know to not go to that limit anymore. You know, everyone has to have one of those nights. I've seen it happen countless. I had my own. Like, it's just there, you know. But yeah, tequila in particular, it really, really changes when you have a good quality one.
Yeah, it was a nice drink. I liked it, even though it was tequila. So I'm sorry, tequila. I was mean to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of foods that I'm just like not enthused about, but like having it bad the first time.
Oh, that's just disastrous. Like having because you're a kid and your parents might have cooked something like shit and maybe that'll haunt you for a while, but then you get to be an adult, right? But there's something about being an adult, anything over like 22, 23, or like, you know what? I'm going to try this new food. Oh, it sucks. And I wasted my money on finding out that this food sucks. That will taint that shit.
I did. So growing up, not allowed to eat like, you know, the porks and the meats that were you know, sinful or whatever. Cold cuts were always these weird things that I was like, yeah, everyone's eating this for lunch every day. It's a super normal thing, but I don't know what they taste like. And when I finally did get to taste them as an adult, I was like, this is so fucking overrated and gross. Dude, bologna and ham and all these things. I was like, this doesn't taste like, this is not worth the hype. You know?
No one's out here fucking glazing cold cuts.
Like, it was never...
Like you're saying it's overrated. No one's sitting around going, oh, man, some sliced bologna. Can't wait.
Eventually, a really nice, like, you know, gabagool, a capicole, like, piece is really tasty. Some smoked salmon, I count that as a cold cut. You know, there's shit out there that's like really, really nice. But you've
lost your fucking mind. That is one of the most insane things you've ever said.
You don't like smoked salmon?
Think salmon is a cold cut?
It feels like a cold cut. It's a cold slice of meat that you can eat cold.
That's crazy.
It feels like smoked salmon is a cold cut. It's like other cold cuts. No.
That is insanity.
Okay. All right.
That is like Pat level categorization insanity.
Does the cut have to be a pork?
It has to be like, it has. Okay, so I will actually explain this because there's a real answer here.
The smoked salmon I get is sliced like the cold cuts I get, and it is cold. You can eat it cold. Like,
hold on.
Before we go down this hyperbolic route, what's going on?
No, I'm serious. There's a reason here. So
okay.
a cold cut is a processed meat. So a cold cut is you took like 10 pigs and you turned you fucking boiled them and shit, and you turn them into a fucking ham cube that is like abomination unto God.
Okay.
Like, your parents were right. It's fucking horrible. Right? And you slice that unholy ham amalgamate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that with salmon. Salmon, you don't get 100 salmons and combine them into the salmon cube.
No, it's just a cured meat that you cut from a normal salmon. Yeah, and you prepare to smoke it a certain way.
Yeah, no, the cold cut is from the nightmare.
Okay. Okay, I did the words cold cut. I go, the meat is cold and it is sliced, and that's how you serve it. Therefore, I assume.
Now people are pointing out, dude, what the fuck is roast beef? It's the exception that proves the rules, guys. Come on.
Is cold cut describes the process of what you're getting. Therefore, I'm like, what is considered a cold cut?
You know what? We're gonna look this
processed
up,
meats are considered sausages, known as cold cuts. Lunch meats, any type of meat that is formed in a symmetrical shape after being chopped and seasoned, is considered or
is manufactured sausage.
Examples of cold cuts created using sausage manufacturing: salami, hot dogs, bologna.
Hot dogs a cold cut? Under what fucking system?
It's not even cut. Wait a minute. Hot dogs are cold cuts now? Except you don't eat
you had cold cut. No, wait, you didn't. Maybe.
Except hot dogs.
Were you allowed to have hot dogs?
Yeah, I had hot dogs, but they were like beef hot dogs.
Okay.
But like, so beef hot dogs, which are not cut nor cold, are considered cold cuts now? Because processed meat.
That's crazy.
I understand. There's a large overarching category of that includes, you grind that shit up and it's a processed meat. And then from that, sausages, you put the meat into a sleeve and you twist and you have the thing. But the word cold cut, I assumed, was just the process, not the categorical, I don't know.
This is one of those things that you feel like a definition in your heart and you're willing to die over it, and then you just get proven wrong and that feeling doesn't go away. Like, I just want to stamp my feet and go, no.
Well, you know what? I am not dying on this hill because, quite frankly, smoked salmon is better than fucking lunch meats. It's
incredible. Fucking smoked salmon.
Yeah, so it doesn't need to be in that category.
The sun is in the sky. The moon is in the heaven. Like,
I was disappointed when I tasted a lot of cold cuts as an adult. That being said, I've had some great cold cut sandwiches, mind you. But whenever it's like there's like a deli or a place where you can go to get a sandwich, and it's like, hey, do you want like turkey sliced up into a panini, or do you want some
Yeah,
roast
you know what?
beef
Hit me.
or
Yeah.
whatever these things are, and then or do you want like a cold cut version? And I'm like, why the fuck would I want that when I could get like the ripped meat?
If the
real
meat
thing,
in your sandwich
you know?
looks wavy, that's good. If it looks flat, that's bad.
And so like you get those offers at a lot of sandwich places, and it's like, but why would I ever pick that one? That's the worst of the meat.
Yeah, it's like
Who wants a turkey cold cut when you can get like turkey?
chunk of turkey. Yeah.
Why get sliced up ham when you can get pulled pork?
Bro, we got somebody in the chat who got listeria from fucking
Shredded.
a hot dog.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That's shit, dude.
Okay.
Don't get listeria.
I work at a deli. Willie, you are wrong. That's okay. That's all right. I
mean, listen.
I thought the process of cutting something cold was a cold cut. Like that's fine.
That's okay. Wait, hold on. That is actually insanely vague.
Not something cold. But I thought if you ate the meat cold and sliced and it was and that's how you kind of, you know. Anyway, I thought that salmon would apply to that because you get it in the same kind of sliced up and handed out manner or whatever. All right.
Salmon's just good old fish, man.
Salmon's
great. Who's hating on salmon ever? No one. That's right. Thank you.
Salmon is great, but like
it's great.
But you gotta prepare it properly. There's a lot of fish that is very bland if you don't prepare it properly. All right. Let's take one over here from...
Oh, we got a salmon hater in here. What the fuck?
Okay, well...
Takes all people in this world.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, we got a Matt who says, hey, Pat and Wooly, Matt from Alabama here. With Concord shutting down after being out for 2 weeks, I was reminded of this amazing double announcement tweet for the global version of Love Live's School Idol Festival 2.
Oh, yeah, this
Miracle Live. Global launch notice. We are excited to break the news to you that the global version of Love Live's School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live is launching soon in February 2024. However, we also want to inform you that the global version will close its doors on May 31st, 2024 and cease in-app purchases accordingly. We appreciate and love the support you've shown, and we're committed to making these last few months an unforgettable moment. Both the announcement for the release and shutdown date are in the same tweet.
Oh, yeah, I guess you didn't see this when it happened. People were having a blast with this fucking thing.
The JP version had been out for 10 months prior and had its shutdown announced around the same time. Oh, man, so that's number one.
Oh, wait a second. How long did that game last in the global version?
1 month, February to March.
No, February to May. That's 3 months.
Oh, to May. That's true.
That means it lived for 6 times longer than Concord.
Man, like I saw it was like a housefly lives longer than like Concord.
Way longer. Up to 30 days.
Like, fuck, man. Like, just, the comparison point. You know, a fucking fly outlasted Concord, bro.
So let me ask you, Gene retweeted this, the weekly cutscenes that Concord was supposed to have. Did you see any of them?
No.
So they're so expensive looking.
Oh.
Like they are using the highest end mocap possible. It is like it is balling with money, and you watch it and it's a bunch of cardboard cutouts you don't give a fuck about saying nothing to each other for 90 seconds. And there were months of these built up, and it's where a huge amount of the budget went.
Spending all that money and still releasing the characters that way in that art style,
bro,
is like the most. I can't wrap my head around it. Like, it's not like it was like, oh shit, we were starved for time and money. Shit was rough. We had to get somewhere, and we greenlit this. It's like you had all the time. You had all the time. You had all the money. You have a fucking episode of Secret Level. Like, Oh, they really, really, really iterated enough and committed to that.
So, you know, like games come out and they have like DLC plans and then they just kind of fall apart and like maybe the DLC doesn't come out or they're it's a bummer we never got to do this with the game kind of thing, right? Concord has like months of the most expensive cutscenes ever produced for a video game that are just dying in a drawer and will never be watched.
Man, I would not be surprised if this was one of those cases where you look at the concept art and every single thing on the cutting room floor would have been better.
Oh, do you mean the thing that people have been doing? Have you not been seeing people pulling the concept art and being like,
no,
this is the same character and it's like 1,000,000 times better?
Oh, well, fucking there you go. Like, literally. Like, every version that the artist took to get to this final step would have been a better exit ramp than the place they got to.
If I can find, yeah, I found it. That
1,000,000%.
Let me open up this image and send it to you. This is the big Doom lady, like linebacker character. Look at the fucking difference here.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I just typed in Concord concept art and
that's
got
what they were
thread.
going for. The fantasy old sci-fi sort of art style. Oh my god.
Yeah, so Concord, I feel like Gene was saying this, but I can't quite remember. But I'm fair. Everyone seems to be in agreement that someone said you got to do these cutscenes. It's got to be realistic, and that just killed the way the game looks, like outright.
Because it's like it feels as if you had a an artist made all those. I said it last time. An artist made these character designs, and then they went, okay, but the character creator we have here is like a wrestling game, and we've got to fit it on this body and this shape, and these are the proportions we're going with, and we're gonna use these facial things, and too bad, but this character needs a really square head and jaw in order to make this face look, fuck that, make it work with one of these 7. So weird Afro lady just has to be weird fucking Afro lady because everything is stuck in the character creator that they've built for this.
I think the fat lady wearing like oven mitts might be the shittiest looking character I've ever seen in my life. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I'm not sure, but just
like you can totally do like a fat lady body type in like a fucking video game and have them be a cool character, but like the fucking coat with the oven mitts might be. It's unbelievable.
Okay,
it's fucking unbelievably shit.
It's weird because it's like,
okay, whatever, fat guy with you can do a fat guy. Look at Roadhog.
It's weird because you always have like, it's like, these are modeled to be this way, direct to final, but it feels like a game where you're like, no, you're limited by a creator. I don't know. Anyway, all right, that's expensive cutscenes, and we're not even talking about the fucking short.
I also agree that people saying that the regular looking white guy looking like he's wearing fucking paintball shit is the worst one. That guy is John Concord.
Yeah. No, we will soon be talking about Concord for longer than Concord was alive.
Oh Christ!
Like between
haven't we already done so?
One more conversation or so, and
one more next week.
One more conversation, and that'll cement it. If we just say the word Concord next week, then it's like, all right, we beat it.
Oh, did you see the fucking skins?
Premium skins? No.
Yeah, did you see them?
No.
Oh, hold on a fucking second.
Don't tell me they would have saved it.
Oh, you fucking wish.
Oh.
Take a look at this fucking shit.
Oh, what were you gonna charge?
Take a look at these fucking things. They're even worse.
You had to pay for these?
They're even worse.
Wow. 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 Oh my god.
You know what you're looking
The
at.
lady in
when
the
you
dress
look at
looks
those-
good. The Asian girl in the dress looks good.
Okay, yeah.
And then the guy right afterwards with the fucking with the scrawny neck and the Doom helmet and the green t-shirt.
You're looking at fucking hold on, let's see. You're looking at a bunch of characters who none of their body proportions can change at all because they're all tied to super expensive mocap data.
That's whatever. Yeah, that's
So
that's
you can
it.
only change
That's
their
it.
clothing.
Like that's exactly what I was getting at with the your character creator type limitations. It's like,
You know that fucking pink Mercy skin that was like the most popular fucking thing ever? That changes parts of her fucking model. Like,
over budgeting leading to less quality as a result. Man.
oh yeah, if this game cost of $1/4, it would have been way better.
Man.
Also, I read Gene's review of Concord, and something we never talked about because we didn't get to play it, and we're never going to get to play it, is that the game's primary mode, like its fancy mode that had all its gimmicks in it, sucked. So the core mode, I think it was called Rivalries, but I might be wrong. The idea was that you played one character, and if you did well enough with them, you would earn a buff associated with that character, and then you'd switch to a new character, and then you would earn the buff from that character, and it'd be like kind of like you're playing different characters and swapping a bunch to build up like a deck of cards.
Okay.
And it was super complicated and was putting you into a match on the assumption that when you play this mode, you're going to play like 5 fully different characters over the course of the match, which is weird because it's a hero shooter, which everyone has figured out by now that when you play a hero shooter, you're loading in going, I want to play as Spider-Man.
You lock in, yeah.
Right?
Huh.
And I was struggling to think up what that was, and I realized the problem with that mode is that it's Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle.
Oh, 3TP. Right.
It's like, listen, I know you only want to play Wolf, but what if I forced you to play 4 other characters that you didn't want to play in order to be the most effective?
Weird. Okay.
And much like Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle, it sucks.
I also, with the whole like limitation by the mocap data, it's like, yeah, but isn't that basically what Capcom went through with the RE engine? And like there are, like with converting shit over to hyperrealism, and like they managed to not have this happen by having.
Well, you know why, right? Because Capcom's got like 100 years of making the coolest characters that have ever been in video games.
But like the whole thing with Concord at this point is like it's not like they were lacking time or budget. They had resources. They just greenlit that. Anyway. There's going to be, I'm sure, a no clip on this at some point that can fucking.
And here's the part where we say, Daigo Ikeno could have saved Concord.
Ikeno could have done it. All right.